kick-out free kick with a 20-yard run-out. Good ball for Roberto Carlos. Hooked into the penalty area towards Zidane. Nani. Rooney! Oh, wonderful! Manchester City is still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero!
Hello, good evening. Welcome to Football Heritage TV. This is the Spurs review. This week I am joined by Mari, who has just simply said Spurs, purple and gold. How are you, Mari? You well?
Doing good. Trying to stay cool. It's about 32 Celsius here in Florida. It's hot.
What is that in degrees? I feel like we just work in degrees over here in the UK. What's that in degrees?
It's about like 87 degrees, 88.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, good for you. Lucky you. You keep hydrated and all that stuff. And we got Stel from Tottenham away. Stel, how you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, I'm good. Been on a health kick for 3 weeks, so
Nice.
Age gets the better of you. You either make changes or you say goodbye to seeing 50.
Do you know what? As I told you before, I'm on a massive health kick at the moment. And listen, when I just didn't imagine when I was 20, if I needed to lose a few pounds, it was like I could do it in a few days. Now it's like my body telling me, "No, you've abused me. You can take some time now." So it is what it is. But guys, look, it's Sunday night. It's the day after a 24-hour stream. Thank you to everyone, I should say, who helped us raise. We've raised just under 3,500. Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, we have nearly got a manager. This never-ending saga that is Tottenham Hotspur has taken a new chapter. I just want to say, and I'm going to start it like this, I just watched about 3 to 4 minutes of Chris Cowland's show. And what never ceases to amaze me, guys, and I'm not normally one to talk about other people on my channel, but he had like 900 people watching. And they're all sitting in there. And Chris has gone, right, well, whatever happens, this next manager, they failed if they don't get us back into Champions League football next year. That's the remit for a manager. That's where we are. That's where the club is. Everyone in the chat going, yeah. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, that's not where this club is. Am I the only one that feels that, guys? Like, I don't feel like the next manager should be getting Champions League at all. I think we're miles off it. Am I the only one that feels like that?
Well, if he's expecting the next manager to part the Red Sea or turn water into wine, then we are in shambles as a club.
Yeah.
Champions League will be a miracle at best. We are nowhere near that expectation at all. Nowhere near that. So, we all understand Chris is a little bit on the happy clapper side, but that is, for me personally.
Do you mean the Sky Sports? I want to be recognised and want to be invited onto big channels side.
Yeah, and I know. he's denied it. On Twitter that he's not getting paid by the club or whatsoever. But I just really think he has a different illusion of where we are as a club, who's in charge. This team is not good. There is a lot to be done. It's not fair to whoever is going to be our next manager to have those expectations. You're going to find yourself at this time next season disappointed.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, isn't it? Stel, if I bring you in here, look, people like me and you for years, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever it may be, we're called negative, right? We're negative people. Oh, don't be like Stel and Savva, because Stel and Savva are negative, which I translate in my language to Stel and Savva tell the truth, right? But I can't believe, and we'll get on to Postecoglou in a minute because it does very much look like he's going to be our manager still. But before we get into the ins and outs of his appointment, I feel like no manager is going to get any chance at all because fans now have got this in their mindset that if this man doesn't get us into top 4 next season, that it's been a huge failure. Are we starting off on the wrong foot here and that could be Postecoglou, it could be Pep Guardiola, it doesn't matter. Are we starting off on the wrong foot here still with new managers?
We're starting off on the wrong foot with the same chairman.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Chris Cowland, just to jump on that, he's just a shill. He will put out whatever content he has to put out to keep the media happy, to keep the audience happy. The man has no backbone. I'm sure he's a lovely person to his friends, and he's a really nice guy for you if you go for drinks with him. This isn't personal, but as a content creator, he is the problem. For me, Chris Cowlin is the problem with Spurs. He's the same person that said the next manager we've got to get right after Jose. When that failed, he said, right, this really has to be the right manager now. When Conte came in, and now what's he saying? He says the same shit, the same speech, the same transcript every single year on Sky Sports, and they love him because he knows the line. He is basically chasing a career. He's not a true fan with a backbone that says what needs to be said. That aside, I don't want to say any more on that because if I do, then I'm just going to do all the things I said I wouldn't do anymore on YouTube and just ripping him to pieces. But look, at the end of the day, Savva, I think our fan base is just not the whole fan base, but a large section of our fan base is, I don't want to say the problem, because when you say you're the problem, people get really upset by that. But our fan base are liars, right? They're a mass group of liars, and I'll tell you why they're liars. When we got Jose, so many fans said he's a winner, he's a winning mentality merchant, he's going to bring the winning mentality to Tottenham. 12 months later, Jose out, get him out. We should never have signed him. Wrong fit for Tottenham. Nuno comes in, give him a chance. He could be the right fit for us. I'm going to get behind him. 10 weeks later, get him out. Worst manager I've ever seen. Awful results. Conte comes in. Finally, we've got an elite manager who's relevant, who's modern. He's not a dinosaur like Mourinho. Get behind Conte, everyone. 18 months later, get him out. Turgid, rubbish, awful. Now, Mason, he's one of our own. You know, he's doing a good job. No, he can't do the job. We can't go with Mason next season. No way. We finished 8th with this guy. Can you see a pattern? Manager comes in, jump on the happy dick train, tug the dick, yay! And then when the dick doesn't want to rise anymore, we want a new dick. Get another one in.
I know that feeling still at my age. Don't worry about it. I know that feeling, mate.
we're all getting there, right? We're all getting there. But
only on birthdays and Christmas, mate.
And with a couple of blue tablets.
Yeah.
But now, what am I seeing across social media? Postecoglou, he's the perfect fit for Tottenham. I really like this guy. I'm seeing content creators. Why Postecoglou's the perfect fit? If he's the perfect fit, why have none of you done a video on him for the past 3 months? It beggars belief the way the content world for Spurs is owned by people trying to make people happy in lies. Our fan base are liars, man. They say one thing, they do the opposite 12 months later. Do I think Postecoglou will be good or not? I have no idea. And that's my honest opinion. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? Let's get into Postecoglou. And what I will say is that the last thing I'll say about that, listen, and again, it's not personal. I've got nothing against Chris Cowlin. But again, I watch the show and I just feel like everything I hear, I think to myself, are you watching the same football club that I am? Are you watching the same group of players that I am? Have you seen the last 23 years play out the way I have? Do you know what I mean? And it just makes me think we're not all living in the same world. But hey, it is what it is. Mari, look, let's move in. By the way, people, please get the likes in. Subscribe if you haven't already, and subscribe to these two lovely gentlemen as well. We'll put up their details later. If you don't know where you can find them, which you should know by now. Look, it's difficult, Mari, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that at the beginning of this manager search, I was like, oh my God, Postecoglou, get him in. He's the man. I'm not against it now. I'm cool with him coming in because I feel like I realise where we are. But already you're seeing a lot of things like say no to Postecoglou. Look, comments like this. If you're behind this appointment, your standards are on the floor. But Maury, I'm going to ask, if anyone's happy with Postecoglou, is it that their standards are on the floor, or is it that that's where Spurs are because our owners' standards are on the floor?
Well, what people have to understand is right now, it's that if you are a very good man, you look at Spurs and you're just like, Poch, Jose, Nuno, you're looking at the pattern and you're a bit hesitant. You're just like, I got to work with Daniel Levy. You know, you have other coaches. You have the one out in Portugal, Almiron. His comments was telling. You know, but yeah, he was a candidate about Spurs. You know, it's not people who are, no offense, would be running or jumping to manage this situation at Spurs. If you're a smart, competent person, you can see that this club has a lot of problems. So I'm almost to the sense of, you know, if someone truly wants to come here, it says yes. Okay. Is it going to work? Like Stell says, I have absolutely no idea. But I know whoever is the next manager has a lot of work to do. Those who are saying no to Postecoglou, you know, I don't know who are they thinking that we are going to bring in. This man, they reportedly said no. Supposedly the reason, a good reason, we don't even have a sporting director. We don't know who he's going to work for, who's going to have that relationship with. Then, you know, it's. I don't know who they're thinking that we're going to bring in. I just have no clue. So it's almost like, okay, Postecoglou plays, you know, kind of like attacking football. You know, everybody's done their research, you know, looked on YouTube, looked at his CV. And it's just like, we're at this point where we just kind of give it a try. I would say this. I would probably prefer him than Luis Enrique because we just had Jose, we just had Conte, right? Win now managers who have an opinion. And I just feel if we bring Luis Enrique, he's going to be unhappy in a year's time. He's going to complain about the club. People are going to be upset and call him disrespectful. So I'm to the point of bringing Postecoglou, bringing a company, bringing Zabiola, someone that is going to at least somewhat work with Daniel Levy. But people thinking, you know, Nagelsmann, Poch, well, it's just, I don't know where our fan base is thinking. We are a bad situation. If you're looking at as being the person who's being interviewed and you're looking at the company and you're looking at the company that is Spurs, you're really, really hesitant. You really have your doubts. It's just what it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look, you're not wrong. I mean, still, one of the things I would say is I want to put the owners to one side for 1 second, right? One of the things I'm seeing as well is, you know, I don't feel like our fans, again, not all of them, I still don't feel like a huge proportion of our fans ever learn. I truly, truly don't. Now, I'm going to show you a few comments that I've starred that just truly, truly makes me think that they don't understand the level Spurs have dropped since the days of Poch, or even in the days of Poch when we were second. And I remember people like me and you on Twitter still saying things like, okay, we might be second now, but the club aren't actually building anything underneath it. Do you know what I mean? There's no plan. What's the plan when Walker moves on? What's the plan when Dembele moves on? Now, I would say this, just a few comments. So first of all, I've got things like this, like Savva deserves failure. His ambition is on the floor, backing Ange. Now, first and foremost, Stel, for me, surely any manager that walks through that door, I can't from day one go, no, don't want you to get out. Surely. Like, that's just common sense, right? I don't know. What am I meant to do? Just turn around and go, no, I'm not supporting Spurs anymore. This man's going to manage our club. Like, how do we get fans like this?
I think it's the problem is this club has put off every manager that they potentially would have wanted to come in, right? So the reality is we're only going to get a Postecoglou, a Potter, a Rodgers, a Mason. That is the level we're at now. And if people can't accept that, then you should have been at the protest for the past year trying to get Levy out, which you didn't do. So it's too late for you now to start getting pissed off that Postecoglou might come in. Look at your previous actions. That's what's got us to where we are now. And I've said this for years and years and years. If fans don't take action, then this is what you have to accept. I think part of it is the fact that Postecoglou is just what looks like whatever manager is prepared to say the word yes to the job, right?
Yep.
It's like Murray said, it's a desperate situation.
Yeah.
And the other half is because you got this no to Postecoglou, whatever it is, on social media that's getting traction. So again, before a manager comes into Spurs, we are divided. We were divided on Jose, we were divided on Nuno, we're divided on Mason. We're going to be divided on whoever comes in now. If it's not Postecoglou, the same thing will happen with Rodgers or Potter. No, I don't want him. No, we just. I think the reality is two things Spurs fans have to do. Number one, accept what we're given because we've chosen not to do anything about the situation with the board. So you have to accept whatever comes through the door as manager. And number two, do not expect European football for a few years because we're that far off. And if you can't see how far off we are, we have one of the worst defenses in the Premier League. Other than the bottom four, we've conceded the most goals. We are diabolical. How do you get Europe with that? And that's the reality. Unless you go and buy 4 or 5 new defenders, which we all know we're not going to do.
But I mean, guys, and just a general discussion here. I won't go one by one. We'll just have a general discussion. There's only 3 of us. We don't need to do a great big merry-go-round. But for me, what I see, guys, is things like he won't do it in the Premier League, right? He won't succeed at Spurs. The question I'm going to ask you both is, at Tottenham, what does that actually mean? Like, how will we know if this guy's come in and done well? Because I'm not like I've been saying to everybody and anybody, I don't care who comes in next year. I'm not expecting Europe. I don't care where we finish in the league. I just want to see a manager come in and actually build a team. I don't care if it's loads of frees, loads of kids. Build a team that we can actually all get behind and say, I like this process. It doesn't have to be 50, 60 million pound players. Just somebody that comes in, gets the team playing as a unit and can bring the fans some happiness. But I think a lot of other fans are going to judge this on 1 year based on, oh, well, he didn't win anything or get top 4. He's terrible. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? I just feel like it's a poison chalice.
I think the question is, with the managers left out there, who is successful at Spurs? With the managers left.
Exactly. So let me show you a comment. Right? So for example, this still. So people are saying Nagelsmann or Enrique are free.
Nagelsmann said no. Nagelsmann's rejected us.
Right. Nagelsmann's rejected us. And Luis Enrique, we all know, guys, right, plays tiki-taka. That's the way he's always played, wherever he's been, that's his style. So for this guy to come into Tottenham, you need a whole new team. Like, you need a whole new team of people that are really comfortable on the ball, defenders that can bring it out, fullbacks that can revert into midfield, midfielders who get it down, one-touch passing, forwards that like to come and link up play. Wouldn't Enrique just be another Conte and Jose waiting to happen? A manager that after 18 months will say, why am I not getting the exact players I need who are brilliant technically?
Murray, outside of Spain, what's Enrique done? Because I don't know enough about him, but what I know is he did well for the Spanish national team, did really well at Barca, but outside of Spain, I've not heard anything about him.
When he was in Italy, he didn't have, like I say, he didn't have the luxury of having a Messi, Xavi, and Iniesta, and it was almost like where he was at in Rome, was almost a bit like Spurs. You're going to get what you're going to get. And like Savva says, the reason why I'm like no to Enrique, because I don't want to see another manager come in and complain. It's not saying that he's wrong. It's just that you're not going to get the play. We don't have the players to play a tiki-taka. Our players don't have the intelligence. They don't have the discipline to play that. It's a waste of time. It's a nice name. Right now, I don't want a nice name. I want someone to, start from scratch, start a little something. But that little something is not going to be Champions League. I'm sorry to bust Phil's bubble. Champions League is not going to happen. But are you expecting the other teams above us to drop flat? Like in right now, I'm more comfortable with Brentford and Brighton. I'm more comfortable with those two teams and Villa being ahead of us next year. And that's with Kane. I'm more confident of them finish above us. It's not me being negative. It's just the truth.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, still, this is the thing, right? Look, We all know how it is. We all know, and this is the only thing I always said about like Conte, like Jose. I learned, actually, let me be honest, I learned my lesson from Jose, right? There was a bit of me that thought when he sacked Poch and brought in Jose, I thought, okay, is this going to be the moment that the owners change their stance? He's got the manager that he's always wanted. Surely if you bring that mold of manager in, you go and back him. When he didn't, that is why I was always against the likes of a Conte or an Enrique coming in again, because I thought these managers will absolutely hate it that they're not getting what they want immediately. Whereas a Postecoglou, a Potters, a Rodgers, now, as much as I'm sitting here not championing any of them and saying they're my first choice, they will work with players that they can coach, players that they can upskill, players that will come to us, as opposed to Conte wanting the likes of Vardy, and Bastoni, etc., who won't come to us. Do fans have to get on board with this and realise that this is Tottenham Hotspur 2023? We are not attractive.
Yeah, 100%. We're not attractive. People think we're a big club. We're not a big club anymore. Maybe by stadium size, maybe by fan base, maybe by profit and income, we're big. But in terms of big in the world of football, that we're seen as a club that people want to follow, want to watch, want to see in cup finals, win league titles, be competitive at the highest end. We're not big. We've lost a lot of traction the last, I'd say, 30 years. 75% of it is under Enoch and Levy, 25% under Atzeral and Sugar. We've just lost our ways completely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans in the comments, just reading what a couple of you are saying that he would be the perfect fit. Postecoglou is the right guy. I'm struggling to...
Oh, Maury, have you lost him as well?
Yeah, I've lost him.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. I think you need to put a pound in the meter.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Something must have glitched. Yeah, I think people in the comments saying that Postecoglou, he's the perfect fit, he's exactly what we need. I think you're lying, guys. And the reason I think you're lying is because none of you mentioned his name in the last 3 months, 2 months, month. It's literally the last week you're all saying this, which says to me, why? You're just jumping on that dick train that I was talking about earlier. So I'm not knocking Postecoglou, by the way. He could turn out to be a really good manager. He could turn out to be a Poch type manager for us. Who knows? But the way we're just jumping all over this and getting super hyped and bigging it up, you know what? When you do that, there's normally one ending, and it's a big fall. Just approach it with like, look, whoever accepts the job, beggars can't be choosers, and right now we're beggars. Whoever takes the job, let's just see what happens, because that's the reality. We're not good enough to attract a decent manager anymore, unless we find a gem that we. Do you remember when we got Pochettino in the Amazon documentary? Levy said, "I got lucky with Poch."
Yeah.
That's kind of we're playing the same game again.
But that's the thing for me still, right? I feel like I'm seeing two ends of the spectrum, right? I like to think I'm probably sitting in the middle. For me, I feel like this is where we're at. I'm not like, oh my God, this is the best man, he's amazing. But I'm also not like, oh my God, what's he done? Because this whole what's he done, right, could be very much said about the 3 best managers we've had in the last 20 years, who I believe, you guys can tell me if you disagree, I believe was Redknapp, Poch and Martin Jol. I think they've been the 3 that got us playing some football, that made us all go, yeah, I want to watch Spurs. It's good. You know, we all identify with a club. Poch was from Southampton, hadn't won anything at Espanyol. So the whole what's he done didn't really apply. Harry Redknapp was at Portsmouth, who were a bottom half Premier League team that had come up from the Championship. He'd managed West Ham. What's he done? Well, he hadn't won anything then. And Martin Jol was number 2 to Jacques Santini. I just feel that rather than getting super hyped, rather than getting super down about it, I just think we give this guy time, because it might be, like Mari said, somebody that can work with Levy, that's not going to demand the moon and the earth. Do you know what I mean? That can come in and maybe surprise a few people. And I don't mean winning things, but get us as a cohesive unit, Mari. You know, just a team that actually goes back to the basics, that can defend properly, that can attack properly, that has midfield that don't both of them sit in front of the back. Do you know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question on that?
Basics. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question on that? Right.
Yeah.
I've said in the past, and I stick to this. Right. and it's not me trying to say, yeah, I'm a coach, listen to me, but as a coach, I have all the patience in the world because I know what it takes to develop. I get it. I've been there. I've seen it. At levels much higher than me, I've seen it. I've seen far better coaches, how they operate, and it takes time. I've got the patience. Do our fan base have the patience? Because if they think top four and Europe and all this in a short space of time, then I tell you what, the fans will turn, and when they turn, he'll be gone. The question is,
I agree.
do fans saying you've got it is one thing. When you're losing 3-0, 3-1, 7-0 at Newcastle, if we go through a similar season as last year in order to rebuild, are you going to tolerate that, Spurs fans? I don't think they will. I don't know what you guys think.
No, I agree. I don't, Murray, I'll bring you in here, but just to quickly answer your question still, I don't think they will. But for me, as I've said, next year we're gonna get worse before we get better. You don't start a whole new era. And people, mark my words. I'm not an expert, but mark my words. This is a new era. This whole era has come to an end now, and I think the end of Lloris. And I think, and the end of Kane's contract, whether it's this year or next year, signals the complete end of that team we had under Pochettino. This is a new beginning. Whoever comes in, this is a real tough, shitty job, Mari, isn't it? This is going to be years of pain. We are going to get beaten. There are going to be some games where we take a battering, but that's what happens when you're building something new. It's not straightforward, right?
Yeah, it's going to, if you thought this season was hard, it's going to be much harder this next season or two. It's going to take a lot of patience from our fan base, which I currently think we don't have because we have a different view of how we view Spurs. We think because we have Kane, for now, that we should be higher. This club has so many cracks and holes from the top of the board to the academy. It's not fair for the new manager to come in and expect him to perform a miracle. It's going to take a while. And, I hate using our rivals as an example, because we all know they finished eighth, and they want credit to the Arsenal board. They wanted Arteta out, but they kept saying the cliche, trust the process, trust the process, trust the process. Right now, they got youngsters mixed with some middle-aged, talent. They picked up an older guard. Now, we'll see. This is a telling transfer window for them. Will they try to go the extra step to somewhat be close to Man City? But it took time. It took pain. That Poch said that it's going to be a painful rebuild. We have to expect pain. We can't have an instant, throw a Band-Aid here and it's go, because that cut that we have is severe. It's going to take alcohol, powder, whatever technique you use to put a cut. It's going to take a lot, and you have to be patient. And if Postecoglou is that personality, unlike Enrique, to say, okay, I'm going to take my time. I'm not going to complain to get this right, then so be it. I would rather have that than Luis Enrique, who's going to bitch and moan because this is not the team that he had at Barca.
I agree. Still, I'm gonna let you respond to this, but before I do, just quickly, Mari, I think you're spot on. I think first of all, we all sit here and say how bad our club is run, right? We all sit here and say how bad the squad is. Then, in the same token, we've got fans that go, just get Nagelsmann, just get Enrique. I hate to tell these people, but if we can see it, Mari, if we as football fans that aren't these qualified, managers and scout and agents, etc., if we can see it, do these people not think that Nagelsmann's going to look in and go, hang on, do I want that? That's a hell of a lot of work to do. I'm miles off winning trophies. And at the moment, I've got a very good reputation in football. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I feel like our fans don't understand what we are. So when people are saying, oh, your standards are in the mud. Listen, I want Pep. I want Klopp. Yeah. they don't want us. These managers don't want Tottenham Hotspur. And I think these people are truly, truly overrating who we are and thinking that we are that team that finished second under Pochettino 6-7 years ago.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're Nagelsmann, right? And the rumors have it, Napoli is my Italian kind of team that I scored because I lived in Naples. You have a chance to be with Victor Osimhen, with K, and the rest of the players of that team. Yep. They've just won the Serie A. De Laurentiis says now, we want to win the Champions League. So that's his ambition, and he's going to do whatever it takes. Then you have PSG. Yeah, they're losing Messi, but they still got Mbappe, one of the best players in the world. They still have that infrastructure, Why would you want to come to Tottenham when you have PSG and Napoli?
Right.
It doesn't make sense if you're
Mari, that Benjamin in the chat saying, Enrique's free, just get him. Nagelsmann, Napoli are talking to both of them. It's like, PSG are talking to both of them. What part of people thinks they're going to go, yeah, sorry, PSG, with all the money in the world and Mbappe and Neymar. Nah, we're gonna go to Tottenham and pick up that shit down there. Do you know, it's just baffling. And what I would say, just quickly before I bring you in still, and I'll come to you in a minute, Alex, and big up to you. This Benjamin guy in the chat is Benjamin, there's Spurs. There's a few people that keep going for me, and it's fine. They can be in here. I've dealt with worse people than you before. What makes me laugh is when you people say all these things, you're almost acting as though we've not had Jose Mourinho, one of the most decorated managers in the world of all time. I'm not talking about recently. He's like third in the list of all-time trophies won as a manager. We just had Antonio Conte, who's won titles where he's been. If that didn't make you realise that that is not what we need, if that doesn't make you realise after them being unhappy here that this isn't the club for a big name manager, this is the club now that needs a manager that will build and grow, I don't know what will. Right? And Stel, I want you to respond to this comment. Just before I do, I want to just say one thing. For all you people that are sitting here right now saying, oh, Ange Postecoglou, just remember that he turned down Brighton. He turned down Brighton before De Zerbi took the job. And Brighton do their homework. Brighton study managers. Brighton study players. So if he's that bad, why did Brighton want him? I'm just saying. Stel, sorry, God, do you want to, you're part of the problem, Stel, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm part of that, 100%. Yeah, I mean, look, three things. First of all, if there's people who I don't like listening to, I don't like their opinions, I don't watch them. We've mentioned one earlier on. I won't mention his name again. You're choosing to watch me and comment on everything I say. So clearly, you love me deep down. Number two, I do a fan show every 2 weeks on our channel, Tottenham Away. I invite all fans to come on and actually have a proper debate. And let's get it off your chest and see whether or not your opinions have got substance. None of you come. So you do like to hide behind a keyboard, which is a little bit cowardly, in my opinion. And thirdly, I'm not part of the problem. I want trophies and I want Levy out. I could not be any more clear with that. And everything I do, whether it's protesting, boycotting, standing up for managers and saying, don't turn on the manager, don't want this guy out, it backs everything that I stand for. So I don't know how I'm part of the problem. I know what I want, and my actions back what I want. That's it. Nothing else to say.
Yeah.
Back to you, Alex.
Back to you. Listen, welcome, Alex. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I've been on holiday, like most of the Tottenham players, like I said. So yeah, but yeah, I'm just back from it right now. Back to with a bump. I'm just surprised that we're actually getting something done. Can't believe it.
Well, look, let me ask you a question then. It does look like we're getting it done. Obviously, this is Tottenham, so you never know. But it does look like once Romano and Ornstein have both now said that the deal's going to be done in the next few days, I'm kind of swayed by it rather than just reading reports. Look, let me ask you, Alex. From a Spurs fan point of view, what would you expect next year? What do you think would be acceptable for any manager coming in? But what would mean Postecoglou's done a good job in context of managing Spurs in year one? What can he do next year?
Good football. That's all I can expect at the moment. That's all I want. A little bit more better football than I've seen the last couple of years. That's the only thing I can really say I want better of.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting a lot this season. Next season, I'm not expecting too much. And I think, unfortunately for me, it was always going to be someone that I'm not really into just now, to be honest with you. He needs to really persuade me, but I think it's not just him. It's the whole club need to persuade me whether they're going the right direction or not. Because like I said, it's not my first rodeo with Tottenham. So I would say that I agree with every point that's been made on the today in the stream so far. But at the same time, I think it just is for me that they need to convince me that they are going to go the right way about it. Also, I am very nervous that they haven't got a director of football yet, and the right director of football as well, because I don't know if Postecoglou is going to be a long-term appointment. And if it isn't a long-term appointment, because you know what Levy's like, if things go wrong, goes to turn, sideways, you know what he's like. He wants to get rid. And so we don't know whether they're going to go the right, the same direction that they're doing, and that's the thing that concerns me at the moment. But if you want to talk about next season, I think we're going to go in for a lot of pain next season. But that's just me.
No, mate. Listen, I don't disagree with anything you've just said there. I know we disagree on a lot, but then we also agree on a lot. I completely agree with you. I think fans need to realise next year is not about, oh my God, we're 10th, how terrible we are. I'm not worried about league position. Just quickly, I'll bring you in here, Murray, after this. But I just want to say, Joe Phillips was said, that's where you're wrong, Savva. Mourinho, Conte is exactly what we needed. Levy didn't back even with the players they needed. Joe, I'm sorry, but if you haven't realised what Mourinho and Conte do in their careers, they go to clubs where they're almost ready to win. You sprinkle a few players and then they soar and win things. If you think that's where Tottenham are, I can't help you, my friend, because look how frustrated Conte was at this football club. Look how frustrated he was, because, and I'm not knocking him. Everyone knows I didn't want him. But at the same time, I could recognize that he's a great manager that wins things. But look how frustrated he was, Joe, in his press conferences. Look how frustrated he was in his after-match interviews. That wasn't a manager that should have been at Spurs. That's a manager that's either been lied to or used us as a bit of, to kill a few years and make £15 million. So I'm not knocking him, but I just don't get this at all. Mari, first and foremost, I've seen a lot of people in the chat saying things like, be prepared to get a lot of Asian players now, because, he brought a lot of Asian players to Celtic. I don't know about you. I don't care where a player is from, as long as they're the right player that plays for the manager, right? Should we be worrying about which league or nationality a player is?
Yeah, that's a little close to xenophobic kind of levels, and we're better than that. We shouldn't be going for comments like that. I don't care if black, white, Chinese, Indian, whatever. If he could ball, he could play on our team. And if it's who Postecoglou wants, or the sporting director that's going to work with him wants, then bring him in. It shouldn't really matter. I'm just hoping that our scouting department scouts people. Like I bring up Napoli, being able to go into what's the name of the country, things for be able to steal him, get young talent, from South America or whatsoever. It doesn't matter which nationality it is. Just bring him in, produce, And I don't know why we feel so entitled to have these type of opinions. As a club, we don't have that say to say, no, our players should be like Real Madrid. Most of them come from Brazil or whatsoever. We will take any talent whoever that is quality. And right now we lack quality. So there shouldn't be these type of comments. I just think it's borderline getting xenophobic.
Yeah, it just makes me laugh. I mean, I don't care where a player's from. I love this notion that we're going to sign all these top players from La Liga and we're going to sign all these top players from Serie A. But I look down the road still. I say down the road. I look down the road at Brighton and Brentford and I watch how these guys scout. It doesn't seem to matter where you come from. It's about the right player that fits the right manager.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone watches the High Performance podcast on YouTube, I highly recommend you watch it and listen to the interview they did with Paul Barber, the CEO of Brighton. Just watch the 1 hour interview they did. Mind blowing. How they planned ahead to get in the Premier League, to stay in the Premier League, to push for Europe. How they've got the replacements for players before they sell players for big money. Just go watch it, and you see how serious they are about football. Their football ambition is superior to Spurs, any which way you look at it. And the fact he's confident sitting on a platform that isn't his homeboys from Cambridge University and just gets questioned. Honestly, that's kind of why Brighton are where they are. They've got good leadership. But I've got a few questions on this because I'm just a little bit, just a bit confused, right? So we're hiring a manager without having the director of football in place or the football chief officer at the job yet. That for me is alarm bells. Whoever the manager is, that is alarm bells that they're not involved in the decision making for the manager.
Could it be still though? Could it be? Let's be honest. Munn will have been involved. Let's be fair. He's worked with Munn before. Munn would be involved. But could it be that they're talking to directors of football? Because the one thing, and Alex will tell you about this, is me and Alex have had many rows about this, haven't we, Alex? I always said, I reckon that whoever gets this Spurs job will be someone who's in a job and that they're still involved in some. Alex, back me up here. I said this. I said I reckon that it's a manager who's involved. They're still in either Europe or a cup final, and that it will be announced a few days after that's finished. And that's where we are now. I think the same with a director.
Savva,
I reckon we know who it is, but it's not over the line yet.
Right. Well, that leads me on to my next question, right?
Yeah.
So if Scott Munn is involved
in
appointing, assuming it's Postecoglou,
yeah,
why do we need a director of football? What is the point of the director of football? What's the difference between Scott Munn and the director of football here? I don't get it.
The way I see it, and I could be completely wrong. I'm just the next guy, right? I'm just some guy sitting in a room talking football. The way I see it is that Scott Munn, in an ideal world still, right? Don't shoot me down. In an ideal world, should take all the football running of the business away from Levy. That's the way I see it. Whereas the director of football will sit under him and should take all the running of the football club, not the business side of it, but the running of it, the youth team, the scouting, the transfers. That's how I read into it. And am I stupid enough to think this means Levy steps away completely? No. But could it be the first steps to him doing that?
Okay. Savva, what's the difference between the football business and the football running?
I reckon. I don't know. Look, I don't know. In terms of the way I read it, is in terms of the finances, in terms of commercial deals. I think Levy's giving that to Munn, and then the director of football come in. But my worry is that Levy can't ever. I reckon he'll step away, but he'll jump back in whenever it means signing a check. That's my worry. That's my worry. That's all I can read into it.
Well, the chairman has to sign off on the check. See, for me, I don't get why we need a football chief officer and a football sporting director and a head scout and then the manager. For me, did it not work really, really well when we had a manager called Poch and a head scout called Paul Mitchell? Didn't that work?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So this is why I'm just. And we're getting all excited by it. We're not but people get excited by it. Yeah, officer. Oh, Scott Munn. Oh, football director's coming in. Oh, we're going to get this manager. It's like, whoa. Who's running what? It seems too many cooks spoil the broth.
Mate, listen, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all. And I guess we won't know the answer to this until it's all in place. But all I can assume is that, Munn has worked with Postecoglou before. I fail to believe there would have been no conversations in the background between Postecoglou and Munn. I fail to believe in any way, shape, or form that Levy's not going to have said, "What's this guy like?" And he might have said, "Hey, this guy's really good." Because what I think fans, I see a lot of fans say, "Oh, he's only managed in Japan, only managed in Australia, only managed in Scotland." If he's the right manager for this, I don't care where he's managed. Wenger had only managed in France and was it Japan?
Japan, yeah.
And Japan, right? But Wenger came from Japan. Gary O'Neill this year, people talking about, put Gary O'Neill in the manager of the year conversation, had never managed. Arteta at Arsenal had never managed. Players that have come from Scotland, the managers that have managed in Scotland. O'Neill was a very good Premier League manager. Rodgers has done some good things in the Premier League, take away the last 18 months. Gaza played in Scotland. Brian Laudrup played. I think it's too easy for us to just say, so-and-so's from Scotland, therefore they must be crap. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm reading. Like, your mate Scott M, I like Scott sometimes, but like the most negative football fan I've ever seen in the world. We're going to finish 15th with this guy. Why? Why is he so bad that we're going to drop to 15th? Why?
Do you know what my worry is with this situation, right? If the stories that have been put out there are true, that we're going to go heavy on the Asian market, Australasian market, I've got nothing against that. What I've got a big issue with, though, is we're going to neglect the European, North American and South American market. You're not going to find the Martinellis, the Ericssons and Vertongans that we bought for 10 million. You're not going to find the gems that are in Europe or the gems that are in North American football, the gems that are in South American football. We're just going to put all our eggs into the Asian basket. For me, that's not a good strategy. I think what we need to do is focus on the Asian market, Australasian, European. We need to be everywhere if we're serious, not just, we know the Asian market only, because there could be someone right on our doorstep beneath our noses that we're just not even going to look at. That's
true, but to be fair, I've got it up now, some of the players that were signed under Postecoglou's era at Celtic, and he has signed players from Switzerland, Denmark, Japan, Ireland, the Netherlands, New Zealand,
that's okay then.
Portugal.
That's fine.
Do you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are saying because he signed 2 or 3 that were mainstays in his team from Japan, that's all he can do. But look,
that's what the media's portraying. You see the media.
Of course.
Scott Munn, Australian, Postecoglou, Australian, Tottenham are going on tour to Australia. It's like, yay, that side of the world only. If we do that, I'm worried. If we don't do that, then that's fine. If we do look around the globe, then that's the right strategy. And we need to look in our academy as well. We do need to just see if there are some players in there that can progress.
Yeah. I just think like I'm at the stage now, and let me bring Mari and Alex in. I'm just at the stage now where I don't have expectations anymore. I know there are fans that haven't reached. I think Stell's probably the same. I know there are fans that have probably not reached the levels that we're at yet, but the disrespect I'm seeing, Mari and Alex, to this man, I just feel is just way over the top and just completely. I think it could be a real slap in their face if this guy comes in and actually kind of settles the whole club down, gets rid of some deadwood. By the way, not all of it. It's not going to all happen in one summer that 20 players are going to go and 20 come in, but settles the deadwood down and gets a nice settled 11 that look like they want to run through brick walls of him. I think a lot of people are going to look very silly if this happens, Mari.
Yeah, and I get that because we were it's weird because we have winning trophies, but yet we're spoiled because, top 4. It's almost like the fans are like Levy in a sense. They're spoiled. It's a birthright that we have to have top 4. And that's what we are dealing with some in the fan base. All I'm looking, because like I told you in the 24-hour stream, I have absolutely zero expectations for next year. If anything, I would like to see, even if we finish, say, 12th, but I see some building blocks, then I'm like, okay, that's something I want to see. But I'm also going to be realistic. It's not honestly, Pep could come in next season. we're not a good club. We are not going to finish top 4, top 5. You know, the utopian way of looking of success would be, okay, we qualify for Conference League, right? That's the highest, right? I can maybe see, but even that is going to be tough because the Premier League is a good league. It is bar none the best league. You know, top to bottom. You know, if you don't act together, you can get beat by anybody. And our team is not that good. It's just we're at the level right now, as people hate it. We're between 7th and 12th with this team, right? No additions, no subtractions. I'm talking about as this team, and it's not fair to put unrealistic expectations on the new manager, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I mean, Alex, one thing I want to kind of transition into the Kane conversation. I've seen people saying that, but by the way, sorry, I should probably do the super chat. Sorry, Crocodox, I've just seen it and I haven't been concentrating. He said, I think the hashtag no to Ange stuff is too much, but the number of people online trying to convince me that this is the perfect appointment is absolutely mental.
I agree with that.
Crocodox, what I would say is, as with anything in any kind of conversation, any kind of debate, someone's here, someone's there. It's probably somewhere in here, right? It's probably more in the middle. He's probably a very good manager with a risk, of course, but aren't Spurs a massive risk for any manager coming as well? We've got to look at it that way as well for me, that it's not a God-given right. Alex, the Harry Kane situation, I'm seeing fans say things like, oh, well, Kane will go now because Postecoglou's coming, whereas, oh, Nagelsmann would force him to stay. I think that's a real dream way of looking at things, that Harry Kane will make a decision based on a manager when he's already had about 7 or 8 in his time in the last 8-9 years, and he can see the state of the club. Do you truly believe there's a manager that would come in that Kane would turn around and go, yeah, I'm absolutely saying this is the right guy, Spurs are going to win things?
We did that with Mourinho and Conte, didn't they? So, I mean, like I said before, Kane needs to make his own decision and man up and make a decision whether he wants to go and put a transfer request in or stay and make a decision. I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, the thing that scares me at the moment, and this will determine whether Scott Munn's got any influence or not, I think it's going to be a big saga this season, Kane, and I'm going to be annoyed by that, because I sit there and think that just shows you again we've not learned from last mistakes before, and that's it. For me, the decision needs to be made whether, and Kane needs to make his decision as well. If he doesn't want to be at Tottenham, put a transfer request in. You know, make the decision for Tottenham to make that decision. If and then I think people have more respect for him then, to be honest with you, rather than it all drag out to the end of the season, end of the summer, and we're going to be absolutely nowhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that's it for me.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, Stel, the Kane thing's going to be interesting, and of course, it's not going to be helped, Stelios, by a full named you there. It's not going to be helped, Stelios, by
that was just weird.
Yeah, sorry, but I don't know where that came from. It's like you calling me Richard. It's just be
like
weird.
Being back at school.
Yeah. I've never been called Richard so much as I have since someone put my name onto YouTube the other day for some reason, and now everyone's calling me Richard. It's just like I'm at school. Yeah. Look, it's probably not been helped still by, obviously, Benzema has now made the decision that he is going straight away. That is now going to be the catalyst for a summer of does he, doesn't he, will they bid, won't they bid? Real Madrid have now, in the last 3 days, lost Benzema, Asensio, Hazard, and Mariano. So they need.
Where's Hazard gone?
He hasn't. He's on a free. He's on a free.
Oh, okay.
He's on a free. He's coming to Spurs. So basically, they've now got Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. and no other forward players. So they're going to have to go and buy players. It looks like they're going to bid for Havertz. But Kane,
Havertz.
Yeah, they're bidding for Havertz.
Yeah,
but
that's a scratcher. But
Kane, take our Spurs hats off. Kane is the obvious choice, right? If you're Madrid, that surely where else do you go if you want to replace Karim Benzema?
I said Kane's off. I don't buy into this. He'll stay one more year, run down his contract. I don't see that. I think he's at that point now where the club isn't in Europe. The club is 8th. This is the lowest point he has been at as a player since he burst onto the scene under Poch, when we were finishing 6th and 5th and then Champions League and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't see why he stays here for a rebuild. But at the end of the day, what I think, the way I look at it is there's a trade-off. You sell him now and you get the maximum possible money you can for the most expensive player you've got at the club. The best player is the most expensive player, and you cash in whilst you can. Or you're worried what the fans are going to do. You're worried of the backlash from the fans. So you try and keep him for an extra year, and then he goes for a free at the end of the season. Now, if he goes on a free, he can go anywhere. Chelsea, if Poch turns that around, Chelsea might be a good proposition in a year's time. He could go to Manchester United. He could go to Newcastle because they might be even better next year. City, I still think Pep wants him. I've said that all along. I would not be surprised if City go in for Pep. Real Madrid, why are they off the cards? They're the biggest club in world football. Why are they off the cards? Of course, they're a serious proposition. So either Kane decides where he goes, or Levy agrees to where he's going to go and cash in the money. So for me, it comes down to one thing. Worried about what fans think or make the money. This is Daniel Levy. If you don't understand this man, then you understand nothing.
Is what
He's taking the money. He's going to take the money.
But in fairness to him,
unless Harry Kane refuses to leave and wants to run down his contract, then that's different. Then Kane's deciding to do that. But then if Kane does that, you have to ask, dude, how many more years do you want to waste of your career? That question is going to come up.
In fairness,
every club's going to ask us that. Every club's going to say he's unambitious. Everyone's going to say that.
In fairness, though, do you know what? I mean, obviously, all the times we ever go at Daniel Levy, etc., for me, and of course, we all hate him or whatever, but I'd be disappointed in him if he didn't take the money if Kane wants to run down his contract. I'd be disappointed if we kept a player just for 1 year as opposed to letting the best player that's been at this club for however long walks away on a free. You just can't. There has to be something to show. There has to be, surely.
Yeah. The only other option, sorry, Maury, the only other option that I haven't covered, which is I just find it impossible to believe, is he signs a new contract. I'll be stunned.
Yeah, if he does, he's got no ambition for me.
I'm just, if he does that, because we know whatever happens next, it has to be a project or rebuild. Whether you back it or not, it's a different story. I couldn't give a shit. But yeah. Kane's going to stick around for a 3-4 year project. I don't see it. I don't.
No, I don't.
I don't see it.
Just before I bring you in, Murray, please, everybody, get over and subscribe to all these wonderful people. You've got Mari for the Mari Spurs channel. You've got Alex for Alex THSC, Mr. Box Office, whatever he's called it now. It's got
Mr. Box Office TV, and if you don't know, get to know. And then I need to get to 700 subscribers as well. So if you can get to that, help me out. That's it.
Savva, I'm on Tottenham away now. Most people don't know I merged into that channel maybe 3 weeks ago, so that's where people can find me.
Cool. My bad. Subscribe to Tottenham away, and you get 2 for 1. Look at these beautiful people. You get 2 for 1. Subscribe to Alex, and you can see more of this. Alex in an Arsenal shirt, so you know you can subscribe to one. That's 2 people on this panel that have worn an Arsenal shirt in the last year, I believe. And please subscribe to myself. I'm 76 away from 5,500. So please subscribe. Let's keep the ball rolling. Subscribe to everybody. Thank you very much. Mari, the Kane thing is interesting, isn't it? Because you've got a lot of people that I think, only me, I think are trying to convince themselves of reason that Kane doesn't go. So I'm hearing reasons like, oh, but his family, like he's the only footballer with a family, right? Oh, his family won't want to move to Spain. But hang on, what about every foreign player that comes to the Premier League every year? Do they not have to uproot their family and move? And, you know, he's 30. Do you not think him and his wife would have had this conversation that if a big move comes up for the last 4 or 5 years of his career, that doesn't she know that she's part of, like, do you know what I mean? All these things.
Yeah.
Then you get the people saying, Mari, that, oh, but the Premier League record. But I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm an idiot or if I'm insensitive, but top goal scorer in the Premier League history or winning leagues and Champions Leagues at Real Madrid. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't get it.
Savva, people have to understand, outside of England, right? I'm in Florida, you know, a large Hispanic community, Eastern Europe, you know, like when you talk about the Alan Shearer, and most of them are like, oh yeah, I've heard of Alan Shearer. Some of them don't. They can't understand when they know I'm a Spurs fan. Oh, Kane's a great player, world class, but what has, right? I think people in England think he's not going to leave because he wants that ultimate trophy of because supposedly the title of being all-time Premier League scorer. The thing they don't understand is you play the game for glory, right? Kane goes to the England national team and he sees guys like Phil Foden, Calvin Phillips.
Yeah,
they got trophies. They got bling. They got their rings.
And maybe Declan Rice on Wednesday night.
Yeah. What's him?
God, I forgot about that.
And he has nothing. And as a man, I don't care what it is. They say for women, you know, they value how they look. For a man, it's what they have built, what have they done with their hands. And for him, he has nothing. So when Real Madrid is calling, I'm sorry, you as Kane, you have no ambition if you're turning them down just to get an Alan Shearer record. You need to win a league. You need to win a Champions League. You need to win even a domestic cup, you know, Copa del Rey. You need to win something. If your CV says nothing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shearer won with Blackburn, right?
Yeah, Shearer won the Premier League, yeah.
Blackburn. So he has something, you know, Kane doesn't. You have to, I'm sorry, oh, he doesn't want to leave London. Like, I'm not saying his wife is bad, but if his wife is like, baby, don't leave London, like, come on now. Real Madrid is calling. You have a chance to taste glory. You got to get glory. And I'll say this because I know Alex gets big stick for this. And I think because the way Alex says this, right? And he has to say it in a very nice or corrective way. Alex says Harry Kane is a loser, right? That's going to cause an uproar. People are going to get mad. I understand what Alex is saying because I'll put it like this, right? You go to the barbershop, right? I go to the barbershop. There's nothing but Real Madrid, Barcelona fans, some Arsenal, and whatsoever, right? I go in there, and all you hear, what has this player won? What has this player won? What has this player won?
Every fan, Mari, apart from Spurs fans, right? Spurs fans now all of a sudden think that the Premier League goal scoring record is the be all and end all. Fans of other clubs will look at this and go, but what's he won?
Yeah.
And we would do it if this was Arsenal, if this was the other way around. If we had been winning cups and were second in the league like Arsenal, we'd be looking at Kane over at Arsenal going, Arsenal fans praise this guy, but what's he won?
And we
would.
I could guarantee you, Alex hears that like constantly. I hear it every time I go to the barbershop. I can guarantee you, if Harry Kane goes to Real Madrid, the next time I step foot into that barbershop, there's going to be applause for Harry Kane, for Harry Kane for finally having some ambition. Because all of them agree he's world class, but he hasn't won nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Alex, Stel,
records are there to be broken.
Right.
Trophies are always going to be there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Simple as that. And someone said it. I think it was Souness that said it. Graham Souness that said it, and he's absolutely spot on. Like, listen, like, and the thing is, though, that West Ham thing you just mentioned about Rice, he could get some bling on Wednesday. I was saying this last season. So I saw this epiphany last season because I told people, yeah, about that Europa League. Yeah, and people laughed at me saying, "Oh, why are you going on about West Ham? Well, look what's going on now, bro. Look what's going on now." You know what I mean? People don't like the way that I speak because I think I'm taught from the WWE. But no, it's about a style, yeah? A style, yeah? And get used to it because Mr. Box Office ain't going nowhere, you know what I mean? You know? Because I'm going to keep the same energy every single time, like I did yesterday, and I made myself known. That's what you call it. Make yourself known. Tottenham Hotspur need to make themselves known now because when West Ham win that Europa Conference League, yeah, you're going to look at it and sit there and think, oh, it's West Ham. They won the Conference League. The league
but
that we got.
Alex, what will our fans
bro.
do? Alex, our fans will find a way to, oh, it's just the Conference League. No one wants to win that. No one takes it seriously when we're sitting here. I keep saying 15 years, but we can't win a trophy for a year minimum. 16 years without a trophy. If West Ham win this, not only are loads of my best mates West Ham, and it will be absolutely woeful because I'm going on a stag do with about 10 of them in 3 weeks. Their bragging rights over us is, I've got nothing over them anymore. If they win this, what have we got over them?
But it's winning in Europe. And by the way, yeah, that competition was won by a reject manager that I was mudding off last couple of seasons ago, bro, by the way. So what is that saying?
Alex, didn't you say you didn't want Europe?
No, I didn't say anything. I didn't have any, whether it's Europe or not. I didn't care, to be honest with you.
You came on my show and you were one of the people that said you don't want Europe when I was arguing for we need minimum conference.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, Stelios, I was kind of philosophical regardless anyway, because it's like it's either whether you want.
It sounds like you flipped your position to me.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, that's what Spurs does to you.
Have you been borrowing all those flip flops from Sean? Is that what's going on here, Alex?
Sean, no, because I've got to buy one get one free like Tottenham do most of the time, isn't it? But it's like no, I'm sorry, but it's just like at the end of the day, for me, it's like we just don't know our standards, and that's it. That Europa Conference League last season was so embarrassing, and I couldn't let it go. And look what happened this season, and that's it. And that's
because Spurs think the B team can win that competition. What they need to realize is we have to take it seriously if we want to win it. Because even if you get through with your B team, at some point you're going to play a team from Italy that's in the top 5 or 6, a team from Spain that's in the top 5 or 6. We're not beating them unless we put out our best squad. So unless you take Conference League seriously, you're not winning it. West Ham have taken it bloody seriously this year. That's why they're in the final.
And another one as well is, and I know Savva doesn't agree with me, and I know most people don't agree with me, but the thing is, and I couldn't believe I was actually saying this, we could at least got to that final of the FA Cup if we taken it seriously. Because
I disagree with you with the FA Cup, Alex.
With Antonio Conte, and I'm not saying that Antonio
He's the one that got knocked out of the rounds before against easier clubs, mate.
The point I'm making, though, Savva, the point I'm making, though, Savva, in the big games, no, I'm going to go through it again because the point I'm making is in the big games, we were giving it a good go, yeah. And we did really well against Man City. Okay, it was not really. It was
no pressure, Alex. There's no pressure in those games.
That's the thing. I think that's
no pressure.
I think that summed it all up.
The pressure kicks in. We're a different team.
I think that summed it all up. That's why I sat there and thought, because we were so bigging up us after that performance against Man City, saying we're back, we're this, we're that, and that. I thought, okay, the competition like the FA Cup opening up like that, okay, take it. Take your opportunity. We didn't do it, and that for me said to me, "Sorry, we need to get rid of these players now."
Yeah, Alex, of course, but Alex, that wasn't the moment you realised these players weren't good enough. We've known that for years. It wasn't about we lost Sheffield United, we should get rid of them. For me, though, Alex, you've got to ask yourself a question. We rested a couple of players for Sheffield United.
Yeah.
If resting a couple of players against Sheffield United, who had to drop 3 or 4 of them because they were on loan from Man City themselves. So if basically playing half of Sheffield United's B team after we dropped a couple of our first team, if we couldn't win that, not one part of me thinks we're winning the actual cup. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be levels to this, Alex.
Savva,
there's a difference. Hang on, I'm going to agree with Stel here. There's a difference between beating Man City in a Premier League game at home, right? playing Man City in a game where it's about winning trophies, which is something that they do year in, year out, is a whole different ball game, right? Pep gets them fired up for that stuff. You look at them, look at their big games this year, right? Look at their big games this year. Bayern Munich smacked them. Real Madrid spanked them. Yeah. Yesterday, to be honest, I didn't even think Man City got out of first gear and beat Man United. Arsenal, title decider, it was like boys v men. If you think we were going to get to that final and beat Man City, listen, but I want to agree with you on your previous point, though. And by the way, this person I'm going to call out, saying, I don't understand what Alex is saying. He's chatting BS. Any Spurs fan saying Kane is a disgrace. Let me just say, Alex hasn't slated Kane. If anything, he's giving him the ultimate praise, that he's too good to be at Tottenham Hotspur. What I agree with Alex. I said this today, and I'll stand by this. Click this if you want. And there's a lot of ifs in here. If Real Madrid offer a fee that Levy would accept and Kane turns it down, not Spurs, Kane turns it down, he is a loser. You do not get to 30 years of age as one of the best players in world football, winning nothing, and turn down the biggest club in world football. You do not do it, period. I don't know if anyone on the panel disagrees with me.
Do you know what backs this up, right? If Real Madrid tomorrow come in for Højbjerg, Kulu, Romero, Bentancur, they're gone.
They're gone.
They're gone.
In the heartbeat, they will go.
So the Kane, who should be the first one Real Madrid come from, how should it be any different?
Yeah.
By the way, Toby Alderweireld's just won the league.
Yeah,
just what I heard.
Can I just say something in the chat, please? Just because I'm black and I've got glasses doesn't make me Thai. You know what I mean? So please, you stop that, because yesterday that really annoyed me. What that guy called me anyway yesterday. So can you just stop that? Because I ain't talking about the referee most of the time.
Yeah.
And if you're that bothered about me being Thai, get me on AFTV and I'll banter him every single time, and that's it. Because that's what Mr.
That would be a great show.
I can only imagine the views that would get.
And that's
Thai
it.
versus
Back to
Mr.
you,
Boxer.
Savva. I'm done.
Maury, I'll bring you in here. To Danny's point, guys, what about Kane himself says it's been his dream to break Shearer's goal record? Of course, but do we not believe that his dream is to win leagues or Champions Leagues? And if you go to Real Madrid, I don't care. 1 of 4 years, you're going to win it. I don't remember the last time Real Madrid went 4 years without winning a trophy. It's just, I can't get this, Maury. Any fan that thinks he should turn it down.
I saw that comment and I'm like, okay, when did Kane say this? Did Kane said this still thinking, okay, I got a couple more years for Spurs to win the trophy? Okay. And if he said it recently, then even if he believes it, all right, Real Madrid comes into the picture. You just like, oh, I'm putting this dream on hold and spend 3 years in Real Madrid, then maybe come back in the Premier League at 34, 35 and try to scramble some last minute goal. Your plans change when a golden opportunity, the golden ticket, right? That golden ticket comes in, that is Real Madrid. I'm thinking, hey, I don't have any bling. Alan Shearer's record, yeah, it's great, but does it really mean something in a global aspect? No. I'm going to take that golden ticket and I'm going to go get that bling at Real Madrid. All right? Either it's the league or it's Champions League or Copa del Rey, whatever. I'm going to take that opportunity. So I think things change. I think,
of course they do.
Things change. I know. I've heard him say it a couple of times, but like I said, when things change, you adapt, and adapting is Real Madrid.
Absolutely. Just quickly before I react to this from Danny, there's 462 of you in here and we only have 113 likes. Guys, that means there's only a quarter of you that have liked the show. That is absolutely Daniel Levy type liking right there. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe. If I can get 25 subscribers by the end of the show, I'll be well and truly happy. Just go over there right now, smash the subscribe. Let me know when you've done it so I can thank you. And subscribe to these three guys as well at Tottenham Away and at Alex THFC, Mr. Box Office. Please let me know when you have subscribed. Would like to say thank you.
Look at one example. I'll use a perfect example because he said this, right? You look at Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi in the interview, this is before the World Cup, says, I would trade all 7 of my Ballon d'Ors for one World Cup, right? Team accomplishment, right? For one World Cup. He's won the World Cup. Have you seen his face lit up? Even with PSG, they haven't lived up to their Champions League expectation. He doesn't care. He's walking out with a smile like, I've won the World Cup. So that tells you that individual awards means not. I can guarantee you Ronaldo's like, yeah, I would trade in some individual awards for one World Cup.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree with you. Hang on, just quickly, Alex. Sorry. I mean, Danny, I feel like I'll be honest, Danny, I'll call it out. I'll say it to your face if you're on the stream. I just feel like we're saying these things because he's a Spurs player. I'm sorry, but all of this, his family may not want to go. We're saying it's only his dream is to only win Premier Leagues. I'm sorry. In the history of football, who turns down Real Madrid? This is mad. Harry Kane's grown up as a professional football player. His wife knows that. I'm going to guarantee right now, and I'm not having a pop at her, I guarantee Mrs. Kane doesn't have a job, right? I guarantee she doesn't have a job. Does anyone agree with me on that? Right? No. I'm not being rude. Mrs. Kane will be raising their family because Harry Kane's on 200 grand a week. She don't need to work. But every footballer through the test of time would have had this dilemma. And I don't know about you guys, I've never, ever seen any football fan other than the Kane argument talk about, well, what if the family don't want to move? All the biggest players in the world go to Barcelona, Madrid, Man United, Bayern Munich, PSG. They go there because they want to win things and it's stature and it's ego. For me, I'm going to say it. If Harry Kane don't want to go and win La Liga and win Champions League with Real Madrid, then his ambition for me is the same as a Daniel Levy. Sorry, that will sound harsh, but
no, I agree.
Why would you not? Sorry, can anyone? I mean, tell me.
I know. I hear you. I think it's. The thing is with this whole Real Madrid thing, yeah. I think it is a great opportunity, but also a risk for him as well. To be honest with you,
Why?
because
What's the risk?
Because the thing is that when you look at what's happened with Hazard and players before like Michael Owen, for instance, and Jonathan Woodgate. If it doesn't work well for you, it really does not work well for you.
None of them had the consistency. None of them had the consistency of Kane over 8-9 years, Alex.
Hopefully I'm wrong.
And Hazard won trophies. He's actually won. He's won Champions League. I mean, he's only played 87 games, but he's got the blend. He's on the team. He's won. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hazard has won. He took a risk.
Yeah.
He won.
I think it's very different, Mari, as well. I think for me, Alex, I see what you're saying. The thing is with Jonathan Woodgate was always injured. For me, a phenomenal centre-back, just always injured. You could never get consistency out of him. If you look at Michael Owen, I don't think Michael Owen had a terrible time at Madrid, but Michael Owen was a very one-dimensional player, not in a bad way. Michael Owen was very much play on the shoulder of the defender, getting behind. In La Liga, you need to be able to link up. You've got to be. You can't just be someone who runs him. You've got to be able to link up.
Look at Gareth Bale. I know Gareth Bale worked out, but look at the ultras though. They were all on him.
Alex, let me be really honest with you, right?
That's because he said shit like golf comes first, right? Football second, and shit like that. And
Gareth Bale, whatever happened with the fans, I looked at it today. His Wikipedia page shows 15 trophies in 8 years at Real Madrid. 15. Five more Champions Leagues than the Ligas. He got 5 Champions League, 3 La Ligas, Super Cups, Spanish Cups. Look at that. Look at Kane. Right?
No.
Look at their careers.
I totally agree with you. Everything you're saying is I totally agree with you. But I think hopefully he still can back himself to do it, because for me, I think that's a great opportunity for him. You know what I mean? To go over there. But I don't know if it's actually. I don't know whether it's going to actually happen, because still there's Firmino, isn't there? Is Firmino still available though? Still for who used to play for Liverpool? I don't know.
Yeah, but they won't be buying him as their. Listen, what they've lost in Benzema is a 30 to 40 goal a season striker. And Bobby Firmino, I think, is a wonderful player, but he's more your link-up guy, isn't he? He's the guy. He's going to drop deep. I think Havertz as well, good player. but what is he? You know, he's not a centre forward. I don't know. Kane for me goes there, and from day one, I don't know what you think, Stel. I think from day one, Kane bangs in goals for fun. I think Kane bangs in goals wherever he goes for fun. I just think he's mad. I do. And by the way, Kevin Blythe.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly.
Go on,
Savva, you're talking bollocks. If Kane's a mug for standing at Spurs, then you're also a mug to still be supporting Spurs. Well, I agree with that. I really am a mug for supporting Spurs. He's no different from you and me in that regard. He's very different, Kevin. You and I are football fans. We don't have a choice to go and play for Real Madrid. This is all hypothetical, Kevin, that if he gets an offer from Real Madrid, I've never known a footballer in the test of time turn down Real Madrid when they've won nothing in their career. It's mental. And the question I always ask, no one can ever give me an answer to, is name me a player as good as Kane or better than Kane before that has never won a trophy in their career.
You know what? Mia convinced me that he should go.
I think he should go.
Because convinced me that about the family situation, about young children, that young children can just go anyway, regardless. Going to other countries anyway. They can acclimatize. You know what I mean?
Messi,
and I think,
they moved their families. They even did a documentary on Netflix of Cristiano Ronaldo's wife. He's had to uproot his kids to Italy, to his son playing football in Italy, playing in Spain, now playing in England. I mean, these are professionals. They're used to it. They know that these things are going to happen. Yes, we would love a Totti at Roma, a one-man club. But even then, Totti won Serie A.
Totti won
He won Serie A. So he had no reason to go. He won Serie A. Whereas with Kane, he has not won anything. They have not properly built around him. It is now to the point he's hitting his 30s where he has to say, man, these young kids, some of them are not even my level, not in my level. They're winning trophies. Where's the light in the tunnel of us winning trophies?
Listen, you can't be going to the England training camp and everyone in that team has won a trophy practically except for him, and he's the captain. It beggars belief, man. It beggars belief, right? You can't have people like Phil Jones who have done nothing, who's won maybe 5-6 trophies just because he's in the squad, right? The reality is Harry Kane knows it, right? He knows that he's going to look back at his career and say, what have I won in terms of silverware, not individual accolades. He's won,
but apparently he can at Spurs still. Look, apparently he can at Spurs. Look at
by the way,
Stelios,
thank you for acknowledging Mr. Box Office, by the way. Thank you for acknowledging Mr. Box Office, by the way, because I said that a long time ago as well, and people were laughing at me as well. But I said the same thing you just said. Thank you for acknowledging Mr. Box Office. See,
well, if you said that, I agree with you, Alex. I mean, look, for me, it's very simple. If we'd backed Poch and spent that 500 million we did the last 4 or 5 years, maybe, there's no guarantees, maybe it would have been a different story. But we've gone through content, Nuno, Mason, now whoever next. The reality is there was a golden period from 2019 till now where Kane and Son were in top flight form of their lives, firing on all 4 cylinders as a partnership. If you're not going to do it then, you've missed the boat. For me, we've missed the boat with Kane. We fucked it. We just need to accept as Spurs fans, this club has fucked the best chance we had with them two. The future is with them two. It's a reality. I want Kane to stay, by the way. I hope he stays because I'm a Spurs fan, not a Kane fan. If Kane stays, I'll have some questions, but I'll be happy because I want him to stay. But if I was Kane, right, forget being a Spurs fan, fuck this. Yep. What am I doing here, man? Like, what am I wasting my career?
I agree.
That's how I look at it.
And this is what I just want to say to James. When he said, I've got all the media trying for years to get Kane out of Tottenham. Now we have our own content creators doing the same. No, what we're doing, James, is asking a question is, if you were Kane, what would you do? Because, James, funnily enough, there is a world outside of Tottenham Hotspur, right? There is a world outside of Spurs. As a Spurs fan, I agree. If Kane signs a new 5-year contract, I'm happy we've got a goal scorer for the next 5 years. But I will also... I do question if he doesn't, I question his ambition, because as Spurs fans, we all look and go, look at the shit show that is our club. Harry Kane lives in it. Harry Kane goes to work in it every day. Harry Kane sits in a changing room and goes, oh my God, that's the back four we've got defending today. Harry Kane looks at our midfield and goes, I've got Højbjerg and Skip. Who's creating for me? Harry Kane looks at Son, getting a bit older. He looks at Lloris Lloris has come out and said he wants to leave. So if we're seeing it, do we truly believe that Harry Kane is looking at it going, oh, all is good here? I don't get it.
You can't buy players. You can't buy players like Spence, Longley, Richarlison, this type of player, and convince Kane to stay. If you're going to convince him to stay, you've got to buy 2 or 3 players that really raise the standards at the club. And we haven't done it. We've never done it. So if you're Kane, where's the convincer? Where's the selling tactic? There's only so much money you can pay someone. He can get that money elsewhere. So we haven't, look, I'll repeat what I said. We fucked the golden window with them. Fucked it.
Let's be honest here, though. Let's be honest here, yeah? We've been lucky with Kane because players like Sheringham, Bell, who else was there?
How long you got?
Berbatov,
Carrick, Modric,
Carl Walker,
didn't hang
Michael
about.
Carrick.
They did not hang about.
Kyle Walker,
Yeah, they didn't even give us a chance to even give them a paper to even put the figure on it. You know what I mean? You know, they just sat there and thought, "No, I'm off." Sol Campbell left on the free and went over the road. So what does that tell you?
Kane might do the same.
Fans?
Maybe not over the road, but
what does that tell you?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
You watch, Alex. If he leaves, watch how many fans will turn on him. If he leaves, I'll turn around and say, thank you so much for
done.
9-10 years, 300 odd goals. Sorry that we not fans, but sorry that we let you down as a club.
Exactly,
sorry,
let you down.
Right?
Yeah.
Go on, Murray. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say I was, first couple of years I was really upset when Kyle Walker left, and I listened to, as the years go by, I'm like, hey, he did what he needed. He was a smart man. I listened to his last interview, and it's not like he didn't love Spurs. He loved Spurs, but he knew he was smart enough. He was smart enough to get out. Right? You saw the movie like Get Out. He was able to get out, and to see him, Real Madrid put Vinicius in the spliff, like dominated, like with one of his best performances. I'm proud of you, Kyle Walker. I'm really proud of you. And you know what? As much as it hurts, when Bale left, as Kyle Walker left, they did what was best for them, and they're happy. And it's not that they don't love Spurs, but they did what was best for them because they know it wasn't going to happen here. It wasn't going to happen with this club. And so for me, I would love the King to stay, but for him personally, as a man, it must be eating himself inside to see people not at his level winning trophies, not seeing the ambition. And it's Real Madrid, right? Though I'm not a big fan of Real Madrid, I respect them because I like Barca more. But it's just I respect them to say, you know what? Yeah, go get your rings. It's rather Real Madrid than Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let me just quickly go for some super chats. Just before I do, just really quickly, Perchy, I agree with you. I think that people think when these superstar actors and footballers move house that they have to do what us normal people do. They don't. They have a team that will do absolutely everything for them. They will pack up their houses. They will do all the contract signing, all the tickets to move. They will unpack. They will do everything for them. It's really not an upheaval as much as what we think. And let's be fair, I don't care if Harry Kane turns around to his wife and says, Real Madrid want us. They're going to pay me £500,000 a week to play in Madrid. The kids aren't, it's not like they're all sitting exams and A-levels or whatever. The kids are going to grow up for 4 or 5 years, then go to Spanish school. We're going to live in the sun. I'm going to play for the biggest club in the world. I'm going to win trophies, £500,000 per week. Tick, 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 tick. I'm sorry. Super chats. Where are we? Phil P has put a couple in. Phil P, big up. I said, with Savva, Stel plus Ange, it's Greek boy summer. Yeah, us Greeks are taking over the world, Phil P. You know it, mate. And he's come back and said, Aussie era, rebrand, Stel, hashtag Tottenham home and away. Love it. God, home and away. I've not seen that for years. I don't even know if it's still a thing. Lucas L, big up to yourself. I said, I reckon he'll go United. We'll talk about that next. He wants that Prem record. He's so close. We're going to talk about this Prem record and United. Remind me that in a minute, guys. Wolves, Finland, big up. Always a massive supporter of the channel. Has said, Ange, get in and impotence. Loser and clueless Levy out. Purple and gold support for Spurs. Yeah, purple and gold until the club is sold. Thank you so much. Jamie Allen has said, did you guys talk about Spurs being the third most profitable team in the world yet? No, but I'm sure we will shortly. Don't you worry about that. Thank you very much, Jamie. Foggy Foam, always in the chat, always a big supporter, said, surely Levy can block him if Madrid comes in for him. He can. I think the point we're making is if he hands in a transfer request or says, I'm going to run down my contract, if Madrid come in with 100 million plus bid, surely, Foggy Foam, it's incompetence on Levy's behalf to keep him for 1 year. Surely, if you're getting 100 million pounds, surely, even if we don't trust them to spend it, it's still 100 million pounds versus next year when they'll have to replace him or move on with no money. So interesting. And Santu, who was a massive donator during the 24-hour charity stream, with another super chat. So thank you very much to everyone that has provided super chats. If you want to do the same, please do. And unfortunately, since I asked, I haven't had one subscriber since I asked, from 474 people. Guys, you agree with me? That's pretty tight, right? That's really tight. Like, no subscribers. Get over there, subscribe, press the like button, and let's move on. Right, guys. We've talked about Real Madrid for Kane, but lots of people will talk about Man United as well. Now, Man United apparently, the biggest word in football, apparently, are going in for Højlund, not Haaland, of Atalanta. Do we believe that if they get Højlund, that scarpers any deal for Kane? And do we believe that Kane would be a good move for, that Man United would be a good move for Kane? And I'm going to fully load this question with, is this goal scoring record all it's cracked up to be? When in theory, like my man, Mr. Box Office says, records are made to be broken. And it's a Premier League record. If you actually look at the English goal scoring record, Shearer's still about 150 behind Jimmy Greaves. So is it the be all and end all? That's a massive question. All three of you, whoever wants to go.
Not really, because when you listen to Haaland, who I still think is, I'll let it go.
Go on.
I will let it go. I will let it go.
How big of you? How big of you, Alex?
I will let it go. But my point is that Haaland said when he won the Premier League, he said, well, that's great. But and he said about the record as well. He said, oh, that's great, but I want to win more. I want to win trophies. I want to win big trophies. That's what I'm here for. You know what I mean? So I can have all the records in the world, but I want trophies. I want that Champions League. You know what I mean? And that is Haaland. That is Haaland. I know he's 22 years old, but that is Haaland. That is like got all the records and everything else. Yeah. Right. And I've said that he's above average John Carew. Yes, I have. But my point is, you know, with all the records that he has done, and that's it. He just said he wants that. So if he's saying that, and he's playing at one of the clubs that are looking like they're going to win the Champions League this season, yeah, and win a treble, what is Kane doing? You know what I mean? And for me, I don't know. I'm not too sure of Man United at the moment. I think it's a bit of a risk for me because after watching them on Saturday, I don't know. I really don't know.
Is it a step up from us, Alex?
Yes, I was gonna say comparison.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know if Man United are a step up?
It's a step up from Tottenham. It's a step up from Tottenham, yes.
Of course it is.
But is it going to get him to where this is where Kane needs to make himself known. You know what I mean? This is when the questions about him, you know, stepping up in finals and semi-finals
Alex,
yeah.
Where did Man United finish this season?
Yeah, no. I'm not doubting that. I'm
asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. Where did they finish?
They finished third, didn't they?
How many points off City?
I can tell you. Give me 1 second. I can tell you this. What league do Spurs playing? Premier League, right? They finished 14 points behind Man City. 14. I know where you're going with this.
30 goals of Harry Kane added to where they finished last year compared to City, that makes them, for me, title contenders instantly.
I agree. I agree.
What I mean, if they want to, if that's the case, Manchester.
Not saying
United
they'll win
should,
it, but they're title contenders with 30 goals from Kane.
If that's the case, then still, that is a no-brainer for Manchester United. Then that is a
Well, I'm just trying to look at it
no-brainer
from
for
a
Manchester
way
United.
where we can see whether or not going to United makes sense, because their squad ran a bit thin towards the end of the season with a few injuries. They finished third. They finished with a Carabao Cup, an FA Cup final, and I think, was it quarterfinal, semis of Europa Cup. Now, if you add Kane, I'm sure they're going to buy a centre-back and another wide player, or they're going to buy 2 or 3 players. If you add Kane plus those players, I think they're title contenders. I think they're in the mix. Yeah, for sure.
Listen, but I think because Kane wants the Premier League, from what I understand as well.
Then go to City. There's no other team. Go to City.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah. I mean, for me, this is a great opportunity for him. I mean, I don't know whether he will win the championship at Manchester United, whether he'll win a trophy at Manchester United. He's got more chance, definitely, right? But this will be the opportunity now for him to show.
Alex, just quickly, would he get the starts at Man United?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes. I don't know. I don't know where he goes and doesn't start. I don't know. I truly don't know which club he goes to and doesn't play.
I think he's better than. Yeah, I mean, I think he's better than Weghorst, Preston. So
or Martial, you know.
Or Martial.
But I do think he's now.
I mean, Rashford and Kane up front would be pretty useful.
Good.
Rashford this season's been very good, to be honest with you. But I want to see more. I want to see. I want him. I want just to divert to Manchester United and Rashford. I want to see more now next season. I want him to get to another level now. You know, because you know this is now not standing still. Get into another level. You know what I mean? That's what you do. You get back to. You go and get better. You know what I mean?
Rashford has to continue to progress.
Exactly.
Season,
but my point is about Kane at the moment. I think for Manchester United, Manchester United would be a great move for him, but it also will put the spotlight in him saying, okay, all those finals that you messed up in and semi-finals for Tottenham, now you're at Manchester United now. You need to make yourself known now, bro. You need to make yourself known now, bro. No. Semi-finals as well still. Semi-finals as well still.
Fuck semi-finals.
You need to make yourself known now, bro. You need to make
Kane scored in the semi-finals. Kane scored in the semi-finals.
Can we be honest, right? I'm seeing so many people in the chat talking about Man United as though they're Tottenham, right? Let's be fair. No matter how much building or rebuilding, whatever bloody word you want to give it to Man United, they're in a position now where the last few years they've not been very good. This year they're third, 2 cup finals, won one of them, got beaten by the best team in the world on the other one. You add Kane to that. Now you had another top centre back. You know they're going to keep adding. Now assume they get these Qatari owners, right? Assume they get these Qatari owners, right? Because we always say, what would we sell to players? Can you imagine these Qatari owners come in and they sit down with Harry Kane? They go, Harry Kane's people go, look, he wants to win trophies. What's your plan? Well, we're about to give £1 billion over the next 3 years to build a team. Yeah, I'm sold, right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm sold. We're going to go and buy this player, that player, that player. Oh, by the way, last year we bought Casemiro. We're going to be buying more players like that. You know, I think for me, is he guaranteed trophies there, Alex? What you were saying? I don't think it's a guarantee, but I think you'll be in the mix. I think at Spurs, I don't think you're in the mix. Whereas we once were, I think even if he stayed loyal to Spurs and signed a new contract, I don't think we'll have the same Harry Kane. I'll be really honest, guys, because I think he's going to get to the point as he gets older where it'll be like, well, what's the point? I'm not actually playing to win anything now. I'm just playing to score goals. And I think there's a huge difference. But Mari, let me ask you about this. No one wants Kane to go, but look, some people in the chat are saying, "Oh, Man United will be more important to him than Kane than Madrid because of the goal scoring record." But how important is this goal scoring record, Mari? I feel like people are using this now as a huge carrot when, in reality, it will be beaten one day. And then what will he have? In 10 years, if Haaland beats that, let's just say, what will he have 10 years to look back on his career?
Yeah. No, and the thing is, it's you know, I love it when Lee Gunner says this. You know, outside of England, top four, no one really celebrates top four. I
No.
feel it's the same way with Alan Shearer's record. It's like, oh, that's nice from the outsider's point of view, but what has he won? And for him, okay, he said it in the interview, but now, okay, the big boys are coming in, especially if it's outside of England, Real Madrid. Okay, I have a chance to win trophies, but Al Shearer's record. I'll have Al Shearer's record, but then I'll have label no ambition, loser, or I can taste glory, right? I'm seeing lesser players taste glory. You know, it has to be eating him up. Having that choice of I gotta win trophies. Now he goes to United. I don't know how people are comparing United and Tottenham on the same level, because right now United is levels above us. So he will have more opportunities to win a trophy rather than Tottenham going to United. So yes, he will be playing for United. He has a chance to beat Al Shearer's record, but he'll have the opportunities to win a trophy. But it comes back to if Real Madrid comes calling and it's Manchester United, I'm placing my bet that I'm going to win something with Real Madrid. I'm sorry.
Mari, do you want to know what Romano's just said? Right. So on Romano's page, he's just put on some of the comments from Ancelotti today, right? Listen to this, guys. So Ancelotti has said, Benzema told us about his decision to leave the club this morning. It was unexpected. His departure was surprising. Now we have time to think about what we should do. We will sign strikers. We need to sign an attack, and we will do that. We want to sign a striker that can score goals and link up well. So we have a striker that plays football well. Right. Now, I'm sorry. When I look round at the other options in world football, who's that
There's
guy?
only one option, isn't there?
Who links up play and scores goals? Because Osman's a goal scorer for sure. He's not your link up guy.
Yeah.
Vlahovic. I'm clutching at straws here. Vlahovic is another option. No, Lissandro Martinez.
He also said strikers, meaning more than one.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I'm worried. That's what I think will happen.
I would say this. With Osimhen, that's going to be hard. Like De Laurentiis really wants to build. It's going to be real hard for anybody to get him away from Napoli. But the second thing with Vlahovic is weird because, I'm not a big fan of Allegri. I think he kills careers. I would think him going to Chelsea will be better because Poch will be able to mold Vlahovic. Because Vlahovic has a lot of talent. I just think he went to the wrong team. He went to Allegri and Juventus. If he goes to Chelsea, I think Vlahovic is going to form fully to the player that he is. But he's not ready for Real Madrid. It's Kane he's talking about. He's talking about Harry Kane being able to do that. I can't think of another player that would fit that mold other than Harry Kane.
Yeah, I agree. Stel, before the show, I asked a question on my I did a poll, and it said, would Kane be crazy to turn down Madrid? And of 462 people, 22% of the poll said no. I can only assume 22% of people are in absolute denial about Real Madrid's standing in world football.
I think for me, it's a no-brainer for Kane because he's got Ancelotti, the governor of the football, yeah, at Real Madrid, yeah. If you want to go big time, for the big trophies, you got your man. There, and he said it himself. What Romano, the quote there, we need strikers. We need a striker that can create and link the play and score goals. Harry Kane, that's your opportunity, bruv. You should be putting your hand up and saying to Levy right now, mate, boom, on the table. My transfer, what is it? Put a transfer request in right there, right in paper, signed and sealed, delivered. Where are you going to take me now, bro? Get me to Real Madrid right now, and that's it. And that's how it is, and that's how it should be from Harry Kane. If you're not doing that, bro, like Savva said, he agrees with Mr. Box Office because he acknowledges Mr. Box Office. What he said, he's a loser if he doesn't do that, and that's it. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
Yeah, Stel, go on, mate.
Yeah. I mean, Alex, man, you kill me. Yeah. The thing is with this Kane poll, right? We're as a Spurs fan base, we're in the most ridiculous of positions out of all the other fan bases, and I'll tell you why. This is how I see it. Fans are so fed up of what has happened to the club, and they're so at their wits' end or just borderline, I don't care anymore. Like, I literally have no soul or heart for what happens. That's how I feel. That if you speak on that, you're either negative against the club or you're saying something that comes across as bad.
Yeah.
So, but what do you want us to do? Like, if you look at the last 30 years, what do you want us to do? You can't keep jumping on the same failed conversations, failed behaviors, failed actions, the same old. Something has to change. Right? I think all Spurs fans agree something has to change. Okay. So if we talk on it, then we're going to say things like, Kane, mate, go. This isn't happening for you. And it's not going to happen. We're just talking on what we keep seeing happening to this club and what we're seeing.
Isn't it a compliment, Stel? If anything, isn't it a compliment to Kane? Because I'm not saying it about anyone else at our club. I think Kane is the one that truly can go to another club like Real Madrid and absolutely light the place up. I don't think anyone else at our club can. It's a compliment to Kane.
Look, well, it is a compliment in a way, because if you think about it, when Carrick left, we weren't happy. When Berbatov left, I was pissed the way it went down. When Modric left, I'm like, when all these players left us, Campbell, Bale, you name it, Walker, I was fucked off because I knew we're going to pay the price and we're going to suffer. But because we're used to suffering now, it's like, Kane, go. It doesn't affect me. And this is what I'm saying. As a fan base, we must come across negative, or we must look to the outside world and the other half of our own fans where we're not Spurs fans. No. What it is, and this is where the other side and a lot of the world of football doesn't get it yet. Like, you still haven't got it. We do love our club. We do care, but we've accepted what we are now. We have accepted what we are. And what we are is average, but we give the image of above average. We're not that, man. And that's it. Like, I've come to that exception now. We're fucking average under this lot. So if you accept that, you're against the club. You don't think we're special, and you don't think we're amazing. No. I think there's a lot of special things about the history. I think we are amazing for turning up to every game, regardless of how fucking bad it is. And I think there is a lot to be proud of being a Spurs fan. But at the same time, the way football is now and what it's become over the last 20 years, I've accepted. We're average in that conversation. So to say you want Kane gone, to say you Kane needs to leave for his own sake, that's just another way of saying I've accepted what we are, and it's not what Kane is about. He's better than that. That's all it is. That's all it means when you say, Kane, see you later. That's what it really means.
Absolutely. And just quickly before we move on, James Hunter, I love comments like this because the mind does easily forget things. Some people just want to play for the club they love, Savva. Okay, cool. Harry Kane wanted to leave 2 years ago when City came in. So he couldn't have just purely wanted to play for Tottenham Hotspur because he wanted to leave then. And also I'd say, name me players throughout the years that that would sacrifice this type of move to stay at the club they love. Now, people will come out with a Gerrard stayed at Liverpool all his career. Yeah, he was winning Champions Leagues. He was winning cups. He was winning UEFA Cups. He was winning things. I don't know anybody else that would. I just don't. And of course, there's Mbappe, Mario. Like, we've got Mbappe that turned them down, but Mbappe's like 24. Mbappe will join Real Madrid in the next 3 years. I have no doubt about that. But Kane's 30. It would be a criminal it would be criminal for a player of this ability to end his career
And
with
someone
nothing.
just put Totti. Like I said, Totti won Serie A.
One thing. He was winning things.
Yeah, he won Serie A. So it's.
Can I say to James Hunter as well? Hasn't Kane already done that? Hasn't he done that for 9 years? Played for the club. Hasn't he already done that?
Yeah.
Maybe he wants a different challenge now. Maybe he wants something a bit different.
He's been loyal enough. He's been loyal enough. Like I said, most top players don't give it, let alone 3 seasons, maybe even 2. You know what I mean?
Most players love playing for more than just one club their entire life. Most players.
Yeah. But things have changed now a little. I do think things have changed though, Stelios. I think things have changed.
I think Gerrard's the only one that's been
so, James, listen, loyalty is wonderful. Loyalty is a wonderful trait. But these players have a 15-year career if they're lucky. Yeah? This isn't... Loyalty's great, but when he looks back in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, is he going to go, I'm really glad I was loyal? Or is he going to look at the whole generation he played with? Because if I look at that England squad... Go on, mate.
Yeah. I was going to say, what top player, and top player means in the top 5 for their position in this country, what top player was loyal and didn't win trophies, which allowed them to stay loyal? Because Gerrard won trophies, Lampard, the only one I can think of is Letizia. He's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, agreed.
I can't think of any other player that stayed loyal who was a top player.
And that's an
outlier. Any top player.
How have we got to this stage, though?
But Savva,
because they won trophies.
Savva, to add on to your point, right? Talk about loyalty, right? They had a gentleman's agreement, like Levy has failed Harry Kane, so he has been loyal enough with Daniel Levy and the board, who has not lived up to his ambitions. So if I'm Harry Kane, I'm like, yo, I've been loyal enough. I should leave. And mind you, you went back on your word on that gentleman's agreement, right? 2 years ago, that supposed gentleman's agreement. So for me, that loyalty is thrown out the window because, all right, I see that Daniel Levy is the narcissist. If we think Daniel Levy is the narcissist, can you imagine Harry Kane, who's in that building 24/7? He doesn't see that, okay, for Levy, it's Enic, it's profits, it's this, it's not the same ambition. So just to add on to what you were saying, Kane has seen that, okay, my loyalty has run out.
I mean, yeah. I mean, what I don't understand, guys, is how we've got to the point where, as a fan base, we're literally justifying what Levy is. As a fan base, we justify now why winning isn't important. Like, I'm sorry, I've never heard any other fan base say players will just be happy just to do this. No, players want to move. Why did Berbatov leave us?
Because he wanted to win.
Because he wanted to win. Teddy Sheringham was here for years and years and years and years back in the day. Left, won a treble, came back. Right? You look, Luka Modric, gone on to be one of the best players in the world. He's won Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, 5 La Ligas, whatever he's done. Right? This whole winning isn't the most important thing. This is the elite level of sport. Of course it is. Right? Ledley King, people are saying, the problem with Ledley is also the reason he stayed so long. I truly believe if Ledley King had had 2 working knees, I truly believe he would have been signed by someone massive as well. And these comments make me laugh. Look at this. Where is it? Like this, I could quite easily see a Kane not wanting to go to Madrid for the sake of his young family. Kane could want to have his immediate family around him to lend a hand. Matthew, is he the only player in world football with a young family? How do all these players every year move club?
You hire a maid. You hired a nanny. They have a nanny that travels with you. Like, you do that. You hire someone. He has the money. He can afford a professional nanny in Madrid to watch over his wife and kids. I think people are just using the excuse, yes, he's an awesome family man, and his family, for what we've seen, seems very solid. But also too, for him, he has to do what's best for him for his career, right? Football brings the bread and butter to his family, and so for him, he has opportunities at Real Madrid of his wildest dreams. I would clearly see that his wife supports that. And say,
I would
okay,
like to think so. I would love to think so.
Yeah, I would think so. All right, babe, we'll get a nanny. It'll be 3 years. The kids will learn Spanish a bit. I mean, it's not hard. It's not hard. People move.
We're making it out, Mari. Like we're making it out like Kane's moving to Antarctica. Do you know what I mean? And trying to sell. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, we're going to live in a £15 million house in the suburbs of Madrid with the sun, and it's just, oh no, it's awful.
Can I just put something out there, right? Because I think we've got an absolutely deluded fan base at the moment. What I'm reading in the comments, it beggars belief. You've got no grip on the real world. It's just pure bias towards Spurs. No actual kind of let's look at Spurs from the outside world as well.
Yeah.
If Harry Kane wants to stay at Spurs now, right? If he stays at Spurs, I guarantee you, every top pundit, Thierry Henry, Roy Keane, Gary Neville, Jermaine Genius, Jamie O'Hara, all the ones you see constantly on all the Graham Soot, you name it, all of them, every single one of them will be in a debate on the biggest TV stations in the world talking about Kane's ambition. Why has he stayed? You guarantee they're all going to have that conversation. So why can't we? Why can't we question the ambition?
Amen. And just to bang on for that, listen to this, Peter. When you say what is Greaves remembered for, trophies or goals, of course, the difference is no one needs to ask whether Jimmy Greaves won trophies because he did. No one needs to ask if Ruud van Nistelrooy won trophies. No one has to say, oh, Henry got this many goals. No, because we know he won trophies. The problem is Kane is remembered for goals because that's all he's got. If Harry Kane went and won the Ligas, Premier Leagues, whatever, and won trophies, cool. That's what he needs to do in his career. But I don't get it. Like Henry and I have had this conversation a lot lately. I think you may have been part of one of them, Alex. If you look at Kane and you look at Vardy, there is no doubting that Harry Kane is a superior footballer to Jamie Vardy. Would we all agree with that? Yeah, he's a superior footballer to Jamie Vardy. But Jamie Vardy's about to retire with a Premier League and an FA Cup in his back pocket. And he's only been in the Premier League since about the age of 27, 26, because he was in the non-league.
Imagine.
That's mental.
I'll say this too, because some people say the argument, but Jamie Vardy will be forgotten. No, he will not. They're going to make movies. They're going to make movies about Leicester City, the greatest upset of all time. They're going to make BBC documentaries. They're going to make are you kidding me? I'm like, they're going to be forgotten. Oh, they got regulated. Look at that. No, he's already done the impossible at Leicester City. They will always be remembered. Always. Trust me. Like, people are like, are you stupid? Like, they're like, he won't be remembered. He's part of that Leicester team. That team is legendary for what it's done. Not only, the world recognized that. Even outside of the leagues, like, people still can't believe Leicester has won. So no one's going to forget Leicester City, let alone Jamie Vardy, because he was the captain. He was the captain, the center back. I forgot was Wes Morgan was the captain. But Jamie Vardy was the best player on that team. No one's going to forget Jamie Vardy.
Mari, in 15 years' time, this is what's going to happen, right? This is exactly what's going to happen. There'll be two teams. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Liverpool and Man City, right? Just for argument's sake. They will be going for the title, and one will win it, one won't. And it'll be Super Sunday, Liverpool v City, the title decider. And in the studio will be two people in their 40s. One will be called Jamie Vardy, one will be called Harry Kane. And they'll be in the studio talking about, what it takes to handle these big games, blah, blah, blah. And then the panel will turn around and say, Jamie, what was it like when you won the Premier League? And then people will realise, what we're talking about.
Bang
Then
on.
people will realise what we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Bang on.
In
Just
15 years' time, when we can't be bothered to find this clip or receipts, whatever people want to call them.
bang on. Oh yeah, receipts. Everything's receipts. Bang on, mate. Listen, that's it. As I always say, when they're in the studio, you see things like it'll go Mika Richards, 322 Premier League appearances, 1 Premier League, 1 FA Cup, whatever it says, and you think, oh, okay, he's achieved that in his career. Kane's is just going to be all-time top goal scorer. Okay, but who does that mean anything to? Spurs fans, right? It doesn't mean anything. And Mari is bang on. If anyone thinks that anyone is going to be forgotten from that Leicester side, you think, if anything, he's going to be remembered more for being the top goal scorer in a team that was 5,000 to 1 to win the league. It's almost like next season putting your money on Luton Town to win the Premier League, right? It's madness. And James, I said, Savva, if you were a pro and Arsenal came in for you and they were the top team, would you sign for them if you were at Spurs? Now, I will answer your question, James, but first of all, I don't know what Arsenal have to do with this. Arsenal are not in this conversation in any way, shape or form, and no one is condoning that Harry Kane join Arsenal. What we're saying is, if Real Madrid, the biggest football club in the world, or Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, come calling, why wouldn't he go? I'm not sure what this question is, if you're just trying to catch me out or what, but this doesn't make any sense. I don't know if it's just me. It just doesn't make any sense. But
he's doing it to try and make us look like we would go to Arsenal as Spurs fans. He's trying
Look at this god awful comment from Scott. No offense. I know you're the most negative man on YouTube, but what a ridiculous. Who is this Jamie Vardy clown? This man broke the record for the number of Premier League goals scored in consecutive games. This man won a Premier League trophy.
He won the FA Cup.
How is this guy being called a clown? Like,
mate, that whole team, Mahrez, N'Golo Kante, Schmeichel, there's a lot of people that the people will talk about in the future being part of that great team. Ranieri, he'll be talked about. He is now.
One thing I will say though,
Scott, sorry, mate. Listen, I like Scott sometimes, but the negativity is way too much. I don't understand why Jamie Vardy is a clown.
He's not a clown.
Why is he a clown? A clown for... Do you know what I'm going to do? Do you know what I'm going to... Sorry, guys. I just want to quickly check because, sorry, I feel like they're making out like I'm talking about Fraser Campbell or something, right? Jamie Vardy, right? Let's have a look. This clown, I'm just going to give some stats, some high-level stats.
Clown.
Right. This guy started in the non-league. No, I won't, Scott, because you're being an absolute fool. You're being ridiculous. This guy went from the non-league, right? From the non-league to Premier League in 4 years, right? He won the Premier League. He won the FA Cup. He won the Community Shield. He won the Premier League Player of the Season. Yeah. He won the Football Writers Association Footballer of the Year. He's won the Premier League Golden Boot, right? And, hang on. And in that time, in his career, he scored 232 goals. What on earth is this guy a clown for?
Yeah, a clown.
Scott, you're showing yourself up. I'm sorry. I say you cry about people calling you negative at the start of the show. I don't cry about it. I'm just not a dickhead like you. You're an absolute mug. I don't care. I'll call you out. You're the biggest fuckwit on YouTube. You're an absolute melt. No, I don't care. I'm going in. Your comments, I get it when you're negative. I get it when you're negative about this Tottenham team. But how on earth does any Spurs fan, let alone a clown like you that thinks Jose Mourinho's a crap manager, how on earth do you sit there and call a guy a clown that has won the league, the FA Cup, scored over 170? He scored over 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Scored over 130 Premier League goals, and the guy's a clown.
Yeah,
sorry. If any of you like Scott, I can't. Sorry, I just don't understand. I just feel like this is sensationalism. Absolute idiot.
I like Scott, you know, because he supports
I
me
don't. He's an
sometimes.
idiot.
Yeah,
He's an
but
absolute idiot, the bloke.
but I hear what you're, but I don't agree with the whole thing about him being a clown, Vardy being a clown. No,
Vardy will forever
I'll
be.
take. I would have taken all of I would have taken their Leicester City's years than what Tottenham Hotspur gave us. I've got to be honest. I'll be honest with you. And
Some
by
of
the
those,
way, I do acknowledge Sean, the Spurs talk show, even though it pains me, he was right about Leicester City. He was the one that said it was going to fall and crackle down at Leicester City. Yeah. So I will give him that. Because I gave it David Harris. I gave it to David Harris when he was right about Dyer. I gave it to Mari when he was right about Romero.
Would you take a Premier League and an FA Cup and relegation?
Yeah.
Or would you take none of those trophies and stay in the league?
I will take it. I will take regulation and the Premier League and the FA Cup.
I will take it.
I'll take
it all day.
Just quickly,
and that's where
Scott M.
If
Scott M wants to live debate this, I'll give him the link. I will murder this guy live in terms of football in debate, because this guy knows. This is the same guy. This is the same guy that said to me that Jose Mourinho didn't get Spurs to a League Cup final. How do you debate with that kind of idiocy? You can't. He said to me, Jose didn't get us there with an easy run. So it doesn't matter what run we had. Jose got us to a League Cup final. It's a fact. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Like I just don't get it. I don't get it.
If you want to debate with him, but yeah, I don't know if you've got time, because you've gone over the 2-hour mark though, Savva.
Well, Scott knows I've beat him in the debate with Jose, because I said still to this day, the latest that we've been in first in the Premier League. Who was the manager? Jose Mourinho.
Get him on then. Get him on.
But yeah, I would take all day Jamie Vardy's position, FA Cup, Premier League to be regulated. I would take it in a heartbeat. I am so desperate to have just to cry in tears, one Premier League title.
Murray, how bad is it when you support a club who's a top 6 club that you take relegation as the price to win a trophy? How bad is that?
Yeah, well,
do you think City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Arsenal would take relegation in exchange for silverware? I don't think they would. I don't think they'd take it.
Guys, I just don't get it. For me, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have bitten. Apologies for biting. But again, still, to your point a few minutes ago about our fans are so not with what is actually happening at this football club.
They haven't accepted what we are, Savva. They haven't accepted what we are.
No, but they haven't. But the thing is, because of that, we belittle everyone else. I don't understand how we're belittling winners. I see so many people get belittled who win stuff. I just do not get it. Like, I'm sorry, this is really. I don't know why
we were belittling Manchester United for winning the Carabao Cup this season. You know that. We're belittling them.
We'll belittle whoever wins the Conference League. Here he is. Let's see. Right, here we go. Straight into this.
Is that actually him, Savva? It's not a troll.
I don't know. If it's not him, I'll just remove it, won't I?
Hello?
It's not him.
It's a joker. Yeah, it's a joker.
Not him.
It's a joker.
Yeah, listen, but you know the thing is, he wouldn't come on and do this because there is no argument ever to call Jamie Vardy a clown. Like in 10 years, 15 years, in 2 years, if Jamie Vardy goes into any panel, BT, Sky, whatever, no one's going to sit there and go, look at this clown. They're going to go, Jamie Vardy, Premier League winner.
Yeah, and that's what they do. Like, if you look in the panel, they're all winners. Like Henry, I think Redknapp won a couple of trophies with Liverpool. Even Jermaine Genius, the only Spurs pundit I think we get bouncing around on Match Day and that, he won the Carabao Cup. So they tend to just have the winners come on shows, right? So if Harry Kane comes on the show, it's literally because he's the England golden boy. And it's going to be a very uncomfortable watch when they ask that question. So, Jamie, what was it like when you won the league? And Kane's just going to sit there, head down, just drop his head. You know?
Yeah, because they won't be able to ask him difficult questions, will they? They'll be able to say, what was it like playing in World Cups? What was it like playing in the Champions League? But when they talk to all of these people about how did you get over the line? Like you look on the panels, they have Omri, multiple wins, Rio Ferdinand, Owen Hargreaves. Like, you know, when they have the likes of Lee Dixon, we can laugh at it. Lee Dixon, Paul Merson, all these people, they won multiple things.
And they can actually talk about what the players are going through and what they think will happen in the end because they've been there and done it. They can replicate their experience and share it. Whereas if you haven't been there and done it, how can you give like a good punditry to the audience? You know, when Gary Neville said, and he said it, I can see Man City finishing 8 or 9 points clear of Arsenal now. It almost happened. And, you know, they threw the last game because they focused on the FA Cup. But he did say he can see Man City going on because he's been there and done it. That's why he said it. And I think that's what Kane will lack as a pundit. He won't be able to give that insight.
Yeah, but by the way, just quickly, this comment here, Greg Spur, you said you belittle Conte from day one. Greg, if you were actually ever on shows with me, and Alex will back me up, said this a million times, I always said Conte shouldn't be at this club because he's a winner and we're not. If you actually ever listen to what I said, he was not the right man for this club. I don't even know why. I don't know why I'm letting it get to me tonight. Sorry. I'm just annoyed. I'm annoyed with idiots. Anyway, last subject before we jump off. I should do some super chat. Sorry. Perch TV has said, big up Perchy. He said, Kane must have watched the Europa League final and seeing both Lamella and Hill lifting that trophy should anger him. I agree. He has no ambition if he stays. Well, the thing is, Perchy, I think we did it the other day. There's like 25 to 30 players in the last 15 years that have left Spurs and all gone on to win trophies wherever they've gone. It must hurt him. I'll come back to this. I'll come back to that because it's a question for us. Luke Seller said, if the right ownership comes in, it could be domination like City's with the right backing. He's got to look at that as well. I think he's talking about Harry Kane if he goes to Man United with that backing. Matthew Ball, thank you very much. I said, at Savva, no Savva. Kane isn't every player. Kane is Kane. He may not want to move for the sake of his kids. His kids come first. I agree. Kane should leave for Madrid. I feel Kane leaves for free. Matthew, I don't understand. Which one is it? Right? If Kane leaves on a free to Madrid, he still has to take his kids, whether or not Madrid pay for him or don't pay for him. I don't know if I'm being silly there. I know he's not every player, but the thing is, Matthew, how many top players don't have that ambition to go? And I'm not saying he hasn't, but and Spurs between the lines, thank you very much. So question to you all, if Madrid come knocking and Kane says no, is that the ultimate Spursy thing to do? Quick go round. Is that where the word Spursy comes from, guys? Is it Spursy if he says no?
So basically, the question is saying that he's bottled the opportunity to go to a big club, to a club that wins stuff. Almost in a way, yeah, you kind of have to say that because
it is.
Because
I think yes,
it's the golden opportunity, and if you don't take it, you're not going to get another chance at it. So yeah,
absolutely. Faz says, Savva, you didn't give Conte time. You're contradicting yourself. Dude, Antonio Conte doesn't give clubs time. His average tenure at clubs is 18 months. Pick up a book, read some history, go on YouTube, learn a few things. All these fans that thought Conte was going to be here for 5 years dealing with a project. I don't know why. Why? It's mad.
Respect to you, Faz, but I will say this. Savva has been saying this he's said this a lot, yeah? He's actually repeating himself. I don't know how he repeats himself. I can't repeat myself all the time. I can't do it.
And again, James said, I didn't like his brand of football. I didn't like his brand of football. But I said from day one, the guy shouldn't be at the football club.
I agree with you. He did say this. He said this.
Yeah,
he said this.
Greg, I did say he's not elite. I don't know what that's got to do with anything. I don't know what that. I don't know. I don't know. You know. And you are getting blocked. Okay, thanks, Faz. Guys, last thing I want to say before we go is, look, new manager coming in. Obviously, we've got a lot to clear out. Who do we think survives from the defenders? We all know that this is the problem. Who do we think survives? And what are we going to do with a manager that comes in playing a 4 when you've got Adoji and Porro are the 2 signings that are going to both be there next year, that are both more wing backs, attacking players than they are defensive. So is that going to completely change the mold of whether or not we buy Porro or how we play? I mean, there's a lot of questions to be asked, guys.
I think the only defender for me, if I want to kick this off, the only defender that stays for me at the moment is Romero.
What about Porro and Adoji though as well? Like, are we putting them into that bracket?
Porro, yeah, by default at the moment. I think he's. I think I still need to be convinced, but I think he needs time. Adoji, I'm still need to be convinced that he's going to be happy to come back here at the moment, because things are completely
He hasn't got
changed.
a choice.
Well, he's got no choice, but I just wonder. I mean, we have to see where it goes, but he's obviously coming back, isn't he? I think, and then if you had to force me an answer on some of the others, the only one that I would say would be Spence, and that's it. All the others, I don't know.
I think all the defenders will stay.
All of them.
And yeah, I think they're all going to stay. I don't think, because otherwise you're going to have to either put them on a transfer market against their request, or you're going to have to cancel contracts. And I don't think Spurs are in the business of paying out money like that. So I think they'll all stay. And then hopefully we bring in a couple, and then the ones that are dropped, they end up wanting to leave anyway because they're being managed out. I just if what I would do, and I'm being realistic here, because in an ideal world, I'd get rid of fucking everyone and start again. But in an ideal world, I would keep Romero, Longley, Spence, Chicken Royale, Reguilón, Udoji, and one other centre back. I don't know which one. And say, right. Actually, no, we buy a centre back. Yeah, and say, right, we're going to work with this for one season because this is the painful bit. If a rebuild is really going to happen, and then we go from there. Because I think another issue our defence has had for a long, long time is I do not think we've got a proper defensive midfielder, a proper block line of block. Wanyama was on a complete different level to anything I've seen come in since. Wanyama was an animal in that role, and we haven't replaced that. So as much as we talk about defenders, there's not enough conversation about defensive midfielders. I don't think we've got one at the club that's good enough. So the defense is the biggest problem at the club. Whoever comes in, no matter what style of play, what tune they get out of the players, nothing's going to work unless we fix that defense. Liverpool summed it up. We're 3-0 down. We went attacking. We got into them. We should have scored more. We did the impossible and turned a 3-0 deficit at Anfield to a 3-3, and we still lost. That shows the defense is the biggest fucking problem at this club. That's where most of the money needs to be pumped into for a rebuild to start with. But are we going to do it? I don't think we are. I mean, it's such a big job, that defense. It's a massive job.
Yeah,
you need 2 centre-backs minimum. You probably need a new defensive mid, and a goalie's part of a defence in a modern playing system. So you need goalie, 2 centre-backs, defensive mid.
You forgot Rodin. You forgot Rodin's coming back too.
Can they do what the new manager wants? I don't know. Probably not. But you need 2 centre-backs, a defensive mid, a goalkeeper. That's 4. And we're not talking about wing-backs yet. So you probably need about 8 players to rebuild a defence, including defensive mid and goalie. At best, we'll buy 2 or 3. At best. And will they even be the levels required? Look at the competition next season. It's insane. I've never known the Premier League to be this hard. The competition is harder than it's ever been before.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Mari, what do you make of it? Let me ask you more about the, obviously Adoji's coming in. Perisic, hopefully ships out. I don't think there's any future there. And you've got Reggie. You've got Reggie coming back as well from loan. But I'm just, if it is Ange Postecoglou, he's got a history of playing 4-3-3. Can Porro and Doji be in that 4? I mean, is that just wide open if we have those two?
It's yeah, that's the nightmare that I'm thinking of. Because at least I'm thinking, okay, if we had one of them, a strong DM, right, I could live with that, and then someone that's defensively competent on each other side. But having them both, it's going to be a night. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be painful. Matter of fact, we forget Session is also there. We have
God,
so
I
much,
forgot about him.
yeah,
So bad, I forgot.
Yeah, we have so many to get rid of. So on one side, it's going to be Udoji Session, because we kind of agree Perisic is gone, and Reguilon, right? Reguilon was defensive. I'm being nice, meh, but
Yeah, I agree.
you know, so it comes to the way one of the three has to go, and on the other side, you have Emerson, Spence, and Porro. I would think one of the three has to go, and then it's just pick your poison. Savva, I don't know. It's bad. I'm not even getting seven backs yet. It's bad. The only one, right? And, we had the debate about Romero. I would like to see there is a compliment to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just don't know. I just don't know.
I mean, listen, I'm praying that everything Stel said is not true. No offense, Stel. I'm just saying, for me, what I want to see Sanchez, Tanganga, Roden, Long. I want to see all of these players moved on, but I just can't see it happening, Alex, all in one window. And Stel could be right there. But if you look at it now, Alex, if you look at the defensive players that we've got in this squad, if we're going to put Porro in there as well and Perisic, you've got Perisic, Sessegnon, Adoji, and Reguilon. You've got 4 there. You've got Porro, Emerson Royale on this side. You've got Longley, probably going back, Sanchez, Tanganga, Davis, Roden, Romero, Dyer. I mean, that's about 14 players right there. Surely 7 of those have got to go, and it's just madness.
Well, like I said at the beginning of the show, and I've said it loads of times now. It's about partnerships, and we haven't got any partnerships in that team, especially in defence. So for me, if you're going to have Romero as your main defender, now I'm not saying, because at the end of the day, if you can't find a partner for him, there's no point of having him. You know what I mean? Because you're just going to have 2 individuals playing defence, and you're just putting square pegs in round holes, aren't you? So for me, you've got to look at it and say, does any of them fit well with Romero at the moment? You've got to say a resounding no. So you've got to look at players that are going to fit with that defence, that are going to fit well on the wings as well as the fullbacks as well, and that's it. And then if you have a unit that fit well around that, you've got your back 4 set in stone what you want, that all get on with each other, got chemistry, and have respect for each other. You can start saying, okay, who's going to be the backups to that can just come in and just do that, and that's it. And that's the main thing for me. But that's where the scouting network need to be very good on what they're saying as well, because you can have quality and that's it. But if they don't communicate and that's it, because it's been an absolute disaster. Because you've had Emerson and Sanchez not getting on with each other, you've had Perisic and Son not getting on with each other. Dyer and Romero do not work because Romero's got no respect for him. So it's just an absolute mess, and that defence will get us into big trouble next season if we don't sort it. So I know we've got a lot of work to do. But I mean, it's not a surprise to me now. After me watching Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, it's been an absolute disaster. Yeah, and the only teams that have been looking good is when Martin Yole had Dawson and King together, right? And when we had Toby and Vertonghen together with Walker and Rose, and they all worked well together, and they all had a go at each other as well. You know what I mean? And that's the only way forward. I'm sorry. You cannot use any of these. If then
Yeah.
there's
And
no
we had good holding mids, Alex. We had Scott Parker back then, and then we had Victor Wanyama. They were all capable in the role.
Yeah,
all
I
capable.
agree with you. I agree with you. But this is the point I'm making. They've all got to work together and actually like to work with each other, because that'll be a start. That
Alex,
will
do
be
you
a
know
start.
do you know one of the first signings I'd make? Obviously, we need a goalkeeper in the defence. One of the first signings I would at least explore would be Paulinho of Fulham. He'd been one of the first players I explore. He made the most tackles in the Premier League this season. Yeah. He's good on the ball. He marshals that defence. I think that sort of a player is, to Stell's point, is we haven't had that. And this is the thing. When I'm seeing, like, I'll go back to the beginning. When I'm seeing people like Chris Cowling going, oh, the new manager needs us to get us top 4. We need a goalkeeper, a whole new defence. We need a holding midfielder. Don't forget, even if Kane and Son do stay, we got no one else now because Danjuma's gone back. Lucas is moving on. So we need to buy 2 or 3 options for squad for forward. This is going to be 2-3 years to get us back to being a competent football club, in my opinion. And I just think everyone needs to sort of, I think everyone needs to buckle themselves in for this. I think they really need to buckle themselves in. And by the way, I'll say this isn't a Jose thing. This isn't a Conte thing. This isn't a Poch thing, right? This is an accumulation of years and years and years of running the club badly. This isn't about one manager leaving or 2 managers leaving or a director of football leaving. This is years of neglect. This is years of incompetence that has left us in a place where we've got hardly any centre mids, hardly any forwards, but about 14 people who are all wing backs or centre backs. It's just, and yet not very good. Like it's just sheer negligence from top to bottom that has left us in this place.
I mean, this is the thing. When we said about Mourinho, I didn't like him, but when he wanted to get rid of Dele Alli, and we didn't do it, I sat there and I agree with it that we should not got rid of him. But now looking back, it was the wrong decision because the manager did not want him. You see what I'm saying? And it's again going back on the fact that you've got to do what needs to be done good for the team and what the manager wants, because at the end of the day,
Alex,
they live and die by their but they live and die by their decisions. You know what I mean? And that's
They're not going to do that. Look at
Postecoglou. I understand that, but
all the signings at 8 million, 1 million, 4 million signings, they've looked at that and thought, oh, look, someone that can work on the cheap and get results. And they haven't taken all the parameters into account. That, I'm not saying Postecoglou is a bad manager, but if you think he's going to come to Spurs and get us to top 4 with 8 million, 1 million and 5 million pound signings, I think no, not you, Chris Cowling. I think he's in for a massive wake-up call, like reality check. That's not going to happen. This guy's going to come in and work on a budget and do miracles. I just don't see that. I think at best, right, if we have a really good season next season, we'll get top 6. If we have a really good season, top 4, no way. It's madness.
Yeah, even then, I think that would be a spectacular season. If I'm honest, if I look at Man City, we're nowhere near it. Arsenal, we're nowhere near. Man United are going to invest, and we're nowhere near them. Newcastle are on the up. You've got Chelsea are playing once a week. Poch will go in there. You know he's going to sort it out. You know, I'm not saying they'll win next year, but he'll go in there. He'll make them a competent team that are playing once a week. You've then got to add in Aston Villa. I'm talking about finishing above us, right? Not winning titles. Aston Villa, a very good team, top manager. I didn't even mention Liverpool, who are just signing Alexis McAllister, and look at them. They won, 8 of their last 11 games of the season. We're miles off it. I think we are miles.
Again, I'm not trying to bash him. I'm just trying to put some perspective on it. Celtic in the last, I think, 8 years have won 5 trebles. So what Postecoglou has done is nothing groundbreaking.
No, of course it's not. No.
Yeah, this is normal up there in Scotland for Celtic.
But still, Rangers. I think it's more about him as a person. In the football world, you see a lot of people are coming out now talking about him, saying that when they've met him, they've been very impressed by his mannerisms, the way he talks in depth about football. Everyone apparently who plays from the man management side. I think it's more that than the fact that he's won a treble at Celtic. I think.
Okay. Right, and this is where it gets interesting. When Mourinho signed, go back and watch that speech at White Hart Lane. everyone was mesmerized. His opening speech, like, I'm here to win. I like to win. And we heard that people love playing under Mourinho, blah, blah, blah. When Nuno came in, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to make you proud. And everyone jizzed over that.
And he did.
And then Mason comes in, says all the right things, ticks all the right boxes. People are like, yeah, I like Mason. And then you get Conte, who came in, and everyone's like, wow, listen to what he's saying. And the funny thing is, they all come in and it looks gravy. You look at their body language a year later, they're fucking broken.
Yeah, I agree.
If Postecoglou can do a good job here, he deserves a statue. If this job doesn't break him, then hats off to him.
But
I'm not.
This goes back to the beginning. Still, this goes back to the beginning. What you've just said there is everything that I think Spurs fans need to answer truthfully. What is a good job here at Spurs for him? So in 3 years, for me, if he comes in 3 years, because by the way, we've got so much deadwood. In the 3 years, clears out that deadwood, brings in young, hungry, quick players that have energy, that we can see resemble a team that actually plays in a cohesive manner, I will say, well done, that's a good job. Then if you have to go to a manager the next level up, you do it. But I think people now think we're at a level where we can just drop in a Luis Enrique. We could just drop in a Conte or a Jose and win. And I hate to break it to those people. We are not that side. So everyone needs to ask themselves, what is good? Trophies is not good at the moment. That is not what we should be aiming for. What is good?
I think
the question is.
Come on.
Go ahead. No, I was going to just say the question is, I wonder what is the board. The board in the beginning of the year gives objectives. I wonder. I'm hoping to God that Daniel Levy is not saying, Big Ange, here's your objectives, and it's the Chris Cowlin version of objectives, top 4, because it would be very, very. If I'm Big Ange, as soon as they give the objectives, I'm like, you know what? I had a change of heart, so I think I'm coming back because. Yeah,
but Mari, look at fans like this. It's like we don't even know what the summer holds yet. We're writing off next season already. James, the difference is, look at what we just said. Look,
writing it
how
off
much
from
needs
what?
to be done. Yes,
writing it off from what? From winning? From doing what?
Okay,
I
James,
just said.
Where do you think we'll finish next season?
A great season,
James. Where do you think we'll finish next season?
Realistically, James,
we don't even know if Kane's going to be here. That's going to have a massive impact.
Even with Kane, that's the thing. I'm basing this with Kane.
True, with Kane. Do you know what? I reckon there's no. This is black or white for me. There's no grey stuff in the middle. This is either going to go one of two ways. This is either going to be a Martin Joel Pochettino-esque vibe, and we're going to go in a good direction, or it's going to be Graham Potter at Chelsea. It's going to go one of them ways. That's how I look at it. I don't know which way. I don't know which way it'll go.
Mate, I agree with you. But for it to go one of those ways, again, we've got to know what we are expecting as fans. And as I said, I'm sorry, but people like James Hunter, who put that comment in just now, I'm not writing off anything next year. I just don't expect top 4 or top 6. I genuinely don't. I look at it, and the fact that we've just said there, we don't have a defensive midfielder. We don't have a goalkeeper if Lloris goes. We don't have proper fullbacks. We don't have any good centre-backs other than Romero. We've got 3 forwards in the entire club now, if I'm right. Richarlison, Son and Kane. I think they're the only 3. Unless I'm missing somebody. I don't see any youth forwards. I don't see any. We've got 3 forwards and an entire Premier League squad. We've got maybe 3 or 4 midfielders who are all more defensive. So we've got no creativity in midfield. And yet people want me to sit here and go, you know what? I think we could challenge top 4 next year. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing how we're not realising what we are.
I can't believe that's in the conversation.
His comment at 5:37, and like so I'm not having to go with you, James. You say at 5:37, I have no idea because transfers haven't started yet. Let me just tell you what Savva just.
Why are you praising the manager then? Why are you praising the manager then?
Yeah.
Makes no
this
sense.
Summer.
Look, this sums it up. He lives in hope. There you go. Mari, there's no reason to it. It's just living in hope.
Hope,
great. Some of us know supported this club for so long.
For this summer
Fucking hell.
to do transfers this year at this time is extremely difficult with our club. Let alone we have to supposedly buy, we have to sell to buy, and we got all this dead weight that we got to get rid of. And like, there's not going to be a miraculous 4 or 5 signings. No, Madison and Harvey Barnes are not coming to Tottenham. I would fall out this chair if that happens. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels this way. We're not getting Declan Rice. We're not.
Look, why aren't we going for Declan Rice? I mean, it's just mental, isn't it? Our fans live in this world. It is.
Yeah,
it is
and Casado and Dybala's going to come finally arrive, and yeah.
I don't even know how top 4's in this conversation. It just is, and again,
it's mad.
It's the thing is though. Why is top 4 even in the conversation anyway? Because
there's fans like this, Alex. There's fans like this that say things like, don't forget a year ago this lot finished 4th, not realising that since then Man United have been resurgent. Newcastle have got new owners and they're flying. Liverpool will be back. Chelsea will be back. You've got Man U and Man City. I've just named 6 clubs.
Brighton and Villa have overtaken us. They're better.
Villa, Brentford are a good team.
Would your target would be in the next few years wanting to win a trophy? You know what I mean? But it's not even that. We're not ready for a trophy. That's not my argument. But the thing is, though, the argument is we are fighting to get top 4 still. And the problem was with Tottenham under Poch is that we were focusing too much on top 4. That was the problem. You know what I mean? And that's it. And we need to refocus our minds. You know what I mean? And refocus to build a new side now. And that's it. And unfortunately, we have to go through pain. And I think the
only positive I will take from anything is that we do have the financial resources to get it right if the football people are given the control. We do now have the financial resources because we spent 500 million in 4 years. That says to me the money's now there. It's whether or not the board make the right decisions regarding football. And I have zero confidence they will. But if you want to be positive, we do have the money to give it a go now.
Spot on 100% so on that point. And I don't think people know the significance of us finishing 3rd behind 2 NFL clubs in the profit, and that's coming from Forbes. It's a reliable one, the best in regards to doing these studies. It's also the bad news. I think I was saying on your streams, Savva. Now you see that. Unfortunately, Levy is not going anywhere soon. You see that as just like he's hit Joe Lewis' objective, like bing, bing, bing. Yeah.
I just think I do want to win the show. Before I do, let me get some super chats in and we'll sign off. Just saying, Santu, thank you, always a big supporter. Matthew Ball as well, thank you very much. A user said, did you see Alderweireld's 94th minute winner today? I haven't seen it, but I've heard all about it. People have been putting it in the chat. Thank you, everyone, for all of that. I just think, guys, look, James, I will just say, look, of course, we see how the summer plays out, but James, we've got so much to do. And what we're talking about is 9 weeks. We're talking about 9 weeks to get the manager in, settled, director of football in and settled, clear Deadwood, all the loan players coming back, replace Hugo Lloris, all the stuff going on with Harry Kane, bringing in new players, getting a philosophy on how to play football, getting a settled team. 9 weeks is going to go like, that's 9 more episodes of this. That's in 9 episodes of this. And you're going, oh, it could be all right. Listen, people like myself and Stel, we're in our 40s. We've been here, seen it, done it. And I'm not saying we can't be a good team to watch next year, but can we just please give the club a little bit of room to grow before we start putting out unrealistic expectations like finishing 4th? It is absolutely mad. It's mad. Anyway, listen, Alex, thank you for jumping on, mate. Really appreciate it, Mr. Box Office. Please get over and support Alex THFC. He's criminal. This man has not got more subscribers. He is entertainment for all of us and is a great guy to boot as well. So please get over and subscribe to him. Mari and Stel, thank you so much. Please get over to these two and subscribe to Tottenham Away. Help them grow. Help them get their numbers back up. And please subscribe to myself. And apologies for letting one person rattle me. Not that sorry. I'm sure you all probably enjoyed it from a YouTube perspective, but hey, it is what it is. What you got coming up this week, Tottenham Away? What you got going on?
We've got an end of season preview tomorrow at 8:30. Our Monday shows our regular one, the one we always do. Been doing it for 2 years, still going strong. Yep. Love it. It's my favourite show of the week. Not being biased, I've always enjoyed Monday. I don't know what it is, just it's a comfort zone. So we're doing an end of season review. We're going to be talking Paratici, Conte, Mason, Levy, players, and what we think is going to happen next. And then Mari's got his show every Wednesday between 9 and 10 UK time every week. Mari just does random shows on something to do with Spurs and football. Check it out. Yeah, absolutely. Alex, you got anything coming up this week?
Yeah, I'm still working on my top 5. You know what it is. You know the rest of that. And yeah, just really just working on some still new things, still less reactive things, and that's it really. And yeah, that's it. That's Mr. Box Office TV. If you don't know, get to know, check in and then check out, get some likes and subscribe, and that's it. And get your boy up to 700 subscribers, and that's it. And let's take over the world. If you want to take over the world anyway, for a small time, unfortunately. But yeah, that's it. Back to you, Savva. I'm done.
Yeah, love it. Absolutely. Thank you very much, everyone. And yeah, as a few people have been putting in the chat, this is a day where Karim Benzema has left Man United. This is a day when Zlatan Ibrahimovic has retired from football. So a lot going on in the world of football today. It is what it is. Let's see what happens with Spurs in the next week. I'm sure this time next week we'll be talking about our new manager and he'll still be getting slated. But I'll urge everyone, please just get behind him. Yeah, let's get behind Ange Postecoglou if he is the guy. He's got a lot of work to do, and it will not help if we are all on his backs, writing him off from day one. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I'm going to, as always, anybody watching my show knows, I'm going to play us out. Guys, stick around in the background, please. I'm going to play us out with a video of a team that actually won something.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.